shipwreck, but this shipwreck it is mine.
All right, welcome to the show, guys. We got a Calgary's own Cale Foster in studio now. Calgary native now.
And local,
straight local now. Keelan back in the studio and first time in a little bit. What's been going on? How does it feel to be back?
Probably gonna be a little rusty, but it's nice to be back in the hole.
The layer.
Yeah.
Chris is a new father now. This guy is quite he's on a new level now.
A new level, eh?
How is it? Has it been?
It's fine. It's good.
Just
Standy.
fine.
Yeah. No, I don't mind it. It's got its exciting moments. Its frustrating moments. The little boy's cute. That's for sure. I'm sure every parent says that right away. But yeah, I mean, like definitely some late nights as expected, and early mornings and fussy moments. But overall, it's been good so far. We're still pretty fresh, though. We still got a ways to go.
I wonder if there's like a certain point at which you kind of is like, is this part one of the worst parts, or is it worse when they get a little older? Like, what is the worst part? Probably different with each kid, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, I think it gets worse for sure, because right now he just eats, sleeps, shits. There's not much else to it.
Wait till he starts walking around smashing shit all over the house and
you're really
standing on the counters.
Yeah.
Then you got to worry about him hurting himself too. And
yeah, well, that's gonna happen, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's been good, exciting. Big life change. Yeah, excited for you guys to try it out.
Yeah, just gonna try it out quick. Give it a quick
Just
trial.
a little test run.
Just give us the kid for a bit, and we'll try that out and see how that goes.
Yeah, you got it on the 30-day money back guarantee.
Oh yeah, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, bro. What's been going on? What about you?
What about me, bro?
Have you been trying it out?
Well, I haven't been trying out babies, but I've just the standard stuff lately,
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, you already asked, man. I said it's good. I'm good, man. We're just plugging away through the winter, working and trying to figure out what's next in life. Just is what it is.
But plugging away through the winter, I think that's how you get in this maybe baby situation.
Just plugging away, and then the next thing you know,
you got nothing else to do. Yeah.
All right. So, Cale, how's the move to Calgary? You're now working at Blackfoot Direct as the suspension guy. Took over Boston's. Oh wait, hold on, just one sec. You guys hear about that? That Renee Hofer.
Oh yeah.
That shit's fucked up.
Yeah, that's gnarly. Like Avalanche. That was at a resort, I think, too. Hey, like a ski resort.
Yeah.
It wasn't like backcountry or anything. Avalanche. So I wonder if Boston would have worked with that guy, or he probably knew.
Yeah. No, they worked together. I mean, at the races together. I don't know if they worked directly together, but knew him. I messaged Boston about him this morning and said, "Hey man, that's crazy," and he was like, "Yeah, pretty devastating." So
man,
sound like he was a pretty outgoing kid, and it's unfortunate, especially when you're putting your life on the line every other day on a dirt bike, and then to get
you're in your off season
to get swept away by something you're just out enjoying. That's, I mean, yeah, sure, equally as risky, but for him at least it was a step away from the risk he assumes every day.
Yeah, it's like kind of his get away from taking the risk and being all that's crazy though. 19 years old, and just where was that? Is that in Italy? Where was that Avalanche?
I'm not too sure.
He's Italian, is he not?
No, I think he was Dutch.
Oh, because I thought him and Crowley won the Italian GP, and that was history that two Italians won the Italian GP. I could be wrong, but
yeah, I don't know. I thought he was Dutch, but
I know they said he won the MX2 overall at Donations, but I don't know how.
Oh, did he?
I don't know how that worked into the overall at that event.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. That's a good point. Hey, pull that thing up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. That's good. So how's been working at the Blackfoot Direct, the suspension thing, and so before obviously you worked at MX101 as a mechanic for a long time. So you got lots of experience working with guys and suspension testing and all that. So how's that
Well,
transition?
how about just give us a bit of a background
Yeah, let's do
first,
that.
and then we can talk about your current job. But
Oh yeah, just step all over me, Keelan.
well, hey, no, it just is for
It's a joke.
we know him, but we want other people to know our friend here.
I don't know how far back do you want me to go. The MX 101 thing is for sure, I guess, what I've been known for forever.
Yeah. Okay, so how about like let's go even farther back. Let's go back to like before, because you raced too yourself, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to that.
Yeah. So just like everyone here, I raced growing up, and I got hurt to where I knew I wasn't going to ever be competitive and like be able to do anything with it, and shifted towards the mechanic thing. But yeah, always was a racer in Ontario, and then I was lucky to have like my dad and my brother be super into it, so traveled all over Canada and the US chasing amateur stuff for a long time. And when I wasn't able to be competitive anymore, I was lucky to be connected with the Blackfoot people way back then. And Joe Skid, who was race director of the Blackfoot team, was local to me. We knew him through his brother, actually. So I grew up farming. That's how we paid for racing and what my family does to this day. And his brother painted all our delivery vans and farm signs and stuff like that. And we had a couple tracks on our property. And when he was around, he'd watch us and tell Joe, like, hey, there's this kid that lives near you. He's racing full time. Like, is there anything you can do to help him out, sort of thing? So I was kind of getting parts off the back of the truck back then.
Yeah.
And when I couldn't race anymore, I was spending time in his shop. And he was having me, help out a little bit and kind of doing like a little bit of practice bike stuff when they were there, and just like showing me what to do. And that would have been like 2010 maybe. And basically it was like, hey, if you go to school and learn how to do this properly, when you come back, like, I'll find a spot for you with the team. And when I was away doing the schooling is when that team folded.
Yeah. Shit.
So coming out of school, I was fortunate to get a job with the Alessis, and was Mike's practice bike mechanic in 2011. His last year with Factory KTM.
Yeah, that's actually a sweet gig though for
Yeah.
straight out of school, right? So you got like a journeyman ticket, or what did you do for schooling?
It's a little bit different down there, right? They don't do the same apprenticeship program, but I've got like MMI is where I went to school in Florida.
Yeah.
So I've graduated MMI, and like I did pretty well down there, so it kind of helped me make some good connections. And the Alessi thing came up like right out of school, and I did that for a good part of a year. And
so like Supercross, outdoors, the whole gig. Like, you do your practice bike though.
Yeah,
right?
practice bike. So there was a little while though where they were bringing me to outdoor races just to kind of hang out and extra hands sort of thing. But it was basically just a good way to spectate more than anything at that point. But yeah, during the week stuff was busy for sure.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Was this? I heard someone told me that maybe this was after the KTM days, but that Alessi, since he had a whole track at his place up in the high desert, that was just whoops, turn, whoops, turn, whoops, turn, whoops, turn. Was that before? Was that after your time, maybe?
Yeah. So my whole time with them, they were based in Florida at that time. Okay. So they had property on both sides, but he'd kind of moved away from all the California stuff, and like they were in the process of selling that property at the time, and well, just like everyone, like Florida's kind of where you want to be now for pro motocross. And so yeah, I was in Florida as home base the whole time. And but his tracks. Oh, we're dead.
We're good. It's
It's just our headphones.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Janky Amazon equipment. Yeah, sorry, keep going.
I love Amazon, man. I use it way too often. But yeah, so I was in Florida the whole time, so I can't speak on the Cali setup too much. But
yeah,
but his tracks were gnarly in Florida, that's for sure.
Were they?
Yeah.
So he had his own facility. We had like his house, and he would have like an outdoor track and a supercross track. Is that kind of how he had it set up?
Yeah. And then just like different variations of the outdoor track too. They would have like a little bit of a Daytona hybrid sort of thing going on, and they were all about preparation. So wherever like the upcoming national was, like no expense spared, they would go and find somewhere that was identical conditions. So like coming into High Point, we went to Osborne's house because like their terrain was the same. So it's funny actually, back then was when they were doing that Inside the Outdoors series, the guy that did The Great Outdoors.
What's that guy's Troy Adamitis. Yeah, that was he's awesome.
Yeah, so they were doing like a series following different riders. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I'm in that one episode for a couple seconds because we're at Osborne's property and Mike crashes, and it's got me and like Tony running across this field to save him. But those guys, whatever it takes, is what you had to do.
Yeah, you totally get that vibe with like with Tony and the way he would is he still involved with the Moto Concepts team? Yeah. Just the way he, like, the whole vibe of it is like he will. There's no what I'm looking for. You can't tell him no, right? Like, he's just gonna find a way to figure out the best way to prepare or the best way to set something up.
Yeah, exactly. That like you said, no is not a word that those guys understand, and like, you know, everyone's got a different opinion on the Alessis, but I honestly had zero problems with them ever. Like, Tony was fantastic to me every moment, but like, he expected everyone to work as hard as he did and put everything they had into it. Yeah. And as long as you did your job, there was no problems. He was great. Yeah. But was not accepting of anyone slacking or falling behind.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of maybe where they get they get like misrepresented maybe in a way, because I like same thing when I knew those guys when they were racing in Canada. Those guys were always super cool to me, like really nice to me. Yeah. And like Mike would go his way to like, I double classed it one weekend and he's like, oh man, that's awesome, good job. And like these guys are actually cool, but then they get such a bad rap. I feel like they're just maybe a little too emotionally charged. Yeah. And they they'll take things to a new level when maybe they shouldn't be. But
they put a lot of money into it though, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Especially in the amateur scene, like, you're pouring huge dollars into that. You understand why they're so emotional. Is it maybe take it a little too far? Sure, like there's a lot of hockey dads that take it too far, but you kind of got to respect it though.
Oh yeah, you got to respect it, I think.
Yeah, it was all in. Like, there was never, you know, every dollar they earned was just reinvested back in the program. Like, it was just constantly trying to improve and get better, and every angle they could come up with, like, you know, no stone unturned, for sure. And for me, it was a good place to start because, like, it, you know, helped me kind of, you know, I'm not as intense as Tony was, but
yeah,
you got thrown in the deep end.
Yeah, it was, you know, kind of showed me right from the start, like, what it takes to be at that level. And, you know, kind of always took that with me to all my other jobs after that.
What was one of the wackiest things you witnessed while you're there? As far as taking it to the next level to win?
Yeah, like, nothing, like, one thing doesn't really stand out. It was just always full effort all the time. Like, every lap was on the clock, and every day the track was prepped perfectly. Like, no matter the weather, you know, and there was never a day that wasn't finished. Like, if the bike broke, like, Mike stayed geared up. We went back, whatever it took to fix the bike, whatever you had to do, get the bike back going and finish the day.
Yeah.
Like, there was never,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. That I feel like that's totally something that makes the difference too, because you'll see the guy that wants it, and then the guy that when something goes wrong, like their bike, they get a flat tire, and they'll be like, okay, we're done for the day. But no, like the guy that really wants it is gonna go and find a tube or do whatever he's got to do to fix that tire so he can finish his motos.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Like I remember once it was still carbureted on the KTM at that point.
Yeah.
And we had a, your rubber boot between the cylinder head and the carb had torn.
Okay.
And like we didn't have one in the shop, and like Tony was like, Mike, you stay geared up. And Tony like starts calling every guy he knows like locally that has a KTM. We found someone that had a KTM, drove to his house, took the boot off, went back, put it on Mike's back, finished the motos.
Yeah.
Like it was.
That's pretty wacky.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, like just borrowing a part from a local guy to get the day done.
Jesus, yeah. Yeah, that's wild. All right, so you worked with them for a year?
Yeah, so they were leaving factory KTM at that point, and it was really good because like I had a good relationship with those guys, but they didn't know what Mike was going to do moving forward. KTM was done with them, and the Moto Concepts thing hadn't come together yet. So Tony sent me to work for a friend of theirs. The guy's name was Dr. Maresca. He runs a company called St. Lawrence Radiology, and was head of the radiology department in a whole pile of hospitals in the Northeast U.S. And he had a kid that was racing GNCCs at the time, and his company also was sponsoring the factory KTM team and a couple other teams after that. He's like a lifelong like personal sponsor of Phil Nicoletti.
Okay.
And if you pay attention, I think you'll still see his logo sometimes at races on trucks and stuff. But so just to keep me busy when they didn't know what they were doing, I went and worked for them for the remaining of the GNCCs. And it was kind of nice because they lived in upstate New York, really close to the border. So actually like less than an hour and a half from where I was actually from.
Yeah.
And so worked for them for a while. And when GNCCs were over, that kid was like, he was a really good off-road rider, but didn't really want to pursue it. Like, I don't think it was, his passion necessarily.
Yeah.
And he's actually pretty successful in car racing right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kind of racing?
Was doing like a bunch of like the dirt track stuff, and I don't know the classes in the car stuff that well, but I'll show you his social media later. But he was doing like the one step below the NASCAR stuff at one point, and looked like he was doing well from what I could tell. Lots of podium pictures on his social and stuff. So
like Xfinity series, is that what it is?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, we'd have to take a look at it, but I'm not positive. But yeah, anyways, so that kid, when he was kind of done, I just moved back to Canada. I was already close to home at that point. And
how old were you at the time of all this?
This is
like when you started working for Mike.
23, maybe, somewhere right around there.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty sweet gig for a 23-year-old kid.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, so went back to Canada when I was done with the Marescas, and started helping Joe again in the shop. I was doing suspension stuff, just a lot of tear down and hanging out, and not really knowing what I was going to do next. And that's when I did that for a while, and that's when MX101 started up as a team in 2013. And that first year was Sean Robinson and Jeremy Medallia, and I'd always been pretty good friends with Jeremy, just growing up close to the same area, and fairly close in age, and he would come and ride my track sometimes, and just someone that I always knew, and he knew kind of what I've been up to the last few years with going to school and the Alessis, and just learning and improving myself as a mechanic. And halfway through that season, they were just looking for more help, and Jeremy messaged me and was like, hey, do you want to be my mechanic for the rest of the year? And I stepped in halfway through that year, and then just never left MX 101 since then.
Yeah.
Kind of took over the mechanical side of stuff with them.
Sweet.
How many riders did you work with when you were at 101?
It all kind of blends together because, like I would always have my race day guy, but the position where I was in, like I would be helping all the team members. Like it's funny because I remember this Joe telling me a long time ago with like being a mechanic for a team. He's like, you got to remember, like, you don't work for one rider, you work for the team. Mm-hmm. And that was something that always kind of stuck with me. So, and especially with, like, we never had a huge staff at 101. So, I had a pretty close relationship with every rider we've ever had. But for actual race day guys, it was Jeremy, and then Dylan Wright, Pettis, and then Moffenbauer, and then the last several years was Marco Canella.
Sweet. Yeah, so you won a championship with, I guess, just Sean?
Yep. Yeah.
Sweet. That's got to be pretty cool to win a championship as your rider wins a championship and you're the mechanic. That's got to be pretty cool. Did he give you a good bonus? not enough money in Canadian moto.
No. Do you know what? I've never really taken any money from a rider. Like, that's a weird program. Like, I always felt like the team pays me, and that's money that they've earned for their performance. Yeah. So it's like I don't want money that you've earned.
Yeah. You know well, it's kind of a different thing in the States when they're making big chunks of money, right?
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. Who's the worst rider you've worked for? I'm just kidding. Answer that.
None of them are bad. Like, everyone has their different, quirks, I guess, and things that they want. But like, I feel like I'm pretty accommodating most of the time. Like, I can handle most situations. So
I guess when you're a racer yourself, you kind of get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get what a rider has to deal with on a day-to-day.
Exactly. Like, like Jeremy was picky, but like he knew what he wanted. So once you knew that, it was easy to do it. Like, you just, it's
just getting to that point.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, every time you have a new guy, you got to learn what they're after. And some people communicate better than others. Like, that can be difficult, but it's,
I feel like it'd be the hardest to have someone that's not happy, but doesn't know what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
That's got to be the hardest thing, right?
Yeah. And can't even like start to communicate it.
Yeah, there's like, oh, it feels like shit. That's all they can give you.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing you had to work with Keelan last year because he's a pain in the ass.
No, it's he's all right.
He's all right.
I don't mind.
I feel like he thinks a lot. He's a deep thinker, and I feel like when I'm riding with him, I start to like overthink myself because he's like, your bike looks kind of weird going into this turn. I'm like, what? Shit.
Yeah. Maybe that's just how I get to,
You're just
get
trying
the edge.
to fuck with me.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's how you get the upper hand.
Probably, the worst person to work for is yourself. Like, I don't ride much myself anymore, but every time I do, it's like, okay, don't pick up the screwdriver. Like, just ride it.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm so rusty because I don't ride enough. I'm always like, oh man, like I gotta fix something here. But
yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like, if you're not sharp, you just gotta ride. And
yeah, exactly.
There's nothing you're gonna do to fix your rustiness, really, right?
And so many people fall into that. Like, I've got tons of friends and stuff, and it's they want advice on what to do, and it's like, you don't want to be short with them, but it's like, just ride. Like, seat time, and then accomplish that, and then come and see me.
Well, yeah, it's even like I can have my bike set up the exact same from one day to the next, and just something's off with me, and it feels totally different. So it's like, it's not always I feel like most of the time for me, it's not the bike, it's just me. I need to get my head out of my ass,
Yeah.
But yeah. So was that pretty bittersweet to try to leave MX101 after being there for like 9 years?
Yeah, it like that team has been my life for a long time. Like, I really all I did, but I don't know. Like you do the same thing for a long enough time. Like I was ready for something new.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I don't know. Like I enjoyed all my time there, but I'm like also excited to be doing something different, you know?
Yeah, it's always good to freshen things up.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll have like a steady job now, and you're not like, it's not like race season's like, holy shit, we got to go, and then.
Well, that's just it too. Like I've been so nomadic for so many years. Like I don't really have a home, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's you're down south doing preseason stuff, and then you come back, and then before COVID times you were coast to coast.
Yeah.
And then I always kept myself busy. I've kind of bounced around with a couple supercross jobs when we were slow at times too. So it's like I was never in one place for too long.
Mm-hmm.
There was a period of years where like I think I'd be at my parents' like maybe a week or two out of a year, and then the rest was just on the move the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's as you get older, it's kind of nice to be settled, I guess, right? Like not just living in airplanes or some rider's couch somewhere. Like
yeah.
And like I enjoyed all those experiences, but like you get to a point where it's like not really what you want to be doing anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I totally hear you there. Like, yeah, even like at the end of the race season, and I'm like, man, I'm just ready to go back home and work. And just go to work. I'm excited to go to work every day and not have to fly out or travel here, or travel there, do bike work all night here. It's just like, it's nice to just have some kind of what the
routine.
Hell? Routine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, but yeah, it's worth it. It's good to have those experiences, but yeah, at a certain point, you kind of just want to chill for a bit.
I mean, you have routine when you're traveling the series. You got to dump your shitter every Monday.
Yep. But
that's the routine.
I guess so. Monday, you wait a whole week before you dump your shitter?
No, man. You race Sunday, dump your shitter, and you got her fresh. Well, I guess you dump her Friday too.
Dump her Friday, get her fresh
Monday,
for the weekend,
Friday,
right?
yeah.
I'm not really up on the shitter routine. I think we got to contact Halstead about that one.
Yeah.
You were pretty fortunate.
Are we live?
Yeah.
We should tell Hayden to call in.
Yeah.
Do we have a phone line hooked up?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell Hayden to call in.
Yeah, if anyone knows the shitter routine, it's that guy.
Does he just spend a lot of time on the shitter, or is he the only guy who knows how to handle the shit?
Well, he drove our truck for a lot of years, so it's like that was kind of his responsibility.
I'm sure he has a better shitter routine than some of these. Is it Phil's shop? He has the shitter. He has when the truck drivers come back, they have. I don't know if it's Phil's or not, and I've heard the story. They have a toilet in the back of their. Maybe is it in the? You would know.
I'm not getting into this.
Okay. Well, we'll pass. We'll pass on
it'll
that.
start to sound a little.
Yeah, but
a little less PC than you'd like it.
Yes, exactly. And I like how you used PC.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ! This time on shit.
You guys need a sponsorship for this stuff, huh?
Yeah, we do. We need some sponsorship dollars. Someone hook us up. We need to get this janky setup off the ground.
Who? I got a question for you. Who was more quirky, Mike or Phil? I mean, you only worked for Phil for an off season.
Yeah. Like totally different personalities. Like I feel like all these people were, those guys that you hear about, like they're, it's like, oh, Mike is like this, or oh, Phil's like this. Like to me,
preconceived notions.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't pick up on much of that stuff. Like Mike was great to me. He's just like, almost kind of like a kid trapped in an adult body. Like, he, like a lot of those guys, they didn't go to school.
Yeah.
All they know is moto, but
through like the standard kind of upbringing of like building kind of a social personality trait.
So, but I kind of enjoyed being around them. Like it's like they're Well, you guys have all met Mike. Like he's pretty like friendly and outgoing.
Yeah,
and,
super
like,
upbeat. Yeah,
yeah.
And he tries too. Like he tries to be a friend and
yeah,
put himself out there.
You know, and then Phil's got this. Everyone thinks he's the grumpy guy or whatever, but like I've got no circumstances where he was grumpy towards me. Like, you know, I got along great with him. Like you said, I only worked with him shortly, but
I always got along with Phil. I just thought he was always funny when it came to his bike.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it was like while I was there, so I worked for Phil with Club MX last winter. They brought me down to be Jace Owen's mechanic for Supercross, but Jace had some injury struggles, so I ended up stepping in to kind of help Phil get his outdoor stuff flowing. But it was so early at that point, like it was kind of just riding and going through the paces. Like he wasn't really dissecting stuff too much. So.
Yeah, just kind of getting back up to speed.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and it's not like it was a new bike or anything. He rode Yamaha the previous year, so he kind of knew what he wanted, and it was more just being maintenance guy more than anything. Nothing too crazy.
What? But then you still went to the Supercross rounds on the weekends, right?
Yeah.
And then so you did what, like 2 or 3 rounds with Jace, and then he got hurt.
Yeah,
and then you were kind of floating.
Yeah, exactly. Just extra hands kind of thing. Well, it's same as with MX 101, right? There's always something that can be done. Like when you're at a race, there's not too much downtime. So, you know, even with my rider being out, I was probably almost more busy. Just you
bouncing around,
trying to help everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how much do you like? Do you prefer doing the Supercross rounds? I feel like that's got to be kind of cool. It's more of a show almost. Oh, we got a celebrity caller.
Celebrity caller.
Is it? Is he gonna be able to hear us?
Yeah, it should be all right.
All right.
Oh man.
Hello, caller.
Oh, hold on.
We got there.
No, what's going on?
Is it running through something? This is our first time ever having a guest caller.
We didn't have a call yet. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Might just be a little.
This is rough. It's
Oh,
okay though.
Oh, maybe not. I thought we'd be able to hear this guy.
Let's turn the speaker on.
There we go.
Hello, caller.
Oh, it sounds like shit.
Hayden, what's up, man?
Oh, it's about to go to bed, big dogs.
You're just tuning into the pod, or what? Your wife. Your wife tells you to make sure you tell us how perfect she is.
Yeah, I'll let her fill that one in.
Going to bed, man. It's like what? Not even 8 o'clock over there.
Man, he works at 3 in the morning, bro.
Oh.
How far into the pod are you boys?
I feel like we're like 45 minutes.
And has Cale told you his life story? Life story yet?
Yeah, we're talking about the Alessis and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Like how he was a really cool NASCAR driver back in the day.
We haven't heard that story yet. What?
All we've been talking about is how you handle the shit.
Yeah, we're just talking. Yeah.
We're
just talking about.
We got rig questions. That's where we're at right now.
Rig duties.
Yeah, rig duties.
When do you dump the shitter?
Monday, Friday.
Monday, Friday.
As little as possible. And I always like to remind the riders, you know, hey, when you win the championship, make sure you tip the guy that's dumping your shit. You know, your mechanic is important, but a clean shitter is also important.
That might be more important, honestly. You need a good place to shit before your moto, getting yourself in the right headspace, you know.
You don't want to go into the team rig bathroom and get knocked out by the smell in there when you open the toilet. Have you a little loopy on the start.
Cale finally in a pod.
He's finally in a pod.
Yeah, man. What's up? I've been grinding on the big rig.
Holy. Someone's got to do it.
I might have to call you for a job. Come work out west.
If you've already covered Cale working with old Alessi, I was maybe wondering if we could get a good Alessi story out of Cale, but sounds like you've already gone down that road.
Let's see if he's got more. There's got to be something more than that.
You told us a good one about the boot.
Yeah,
but
that was
there's gotta be something wild.
You gave us
man.
some good Mike stories. Do you have any Jeff stories?
Oh yeah, where's the Jeff stories?
Man, you know what? Jeff was never around in any of the time I was there. Like I feel like I barely know him. But I remember like asking once, I'd be like I was like, you know, I've been here a while, like, where's Jeff? and I remember Mike being like, last I heard, he was dating a stripper, and we haven't heard from him in a really long time.
A stripper?
Yeah. But, yeah, that's... I was like, okay, moving on.
Moving on.
I got a Pettis story before I go.
All right.
A Pettis.
I'll keep it short and sweet, but we show up to Calgary for the first race, and Noof comes by and gives us all our 100% stuff. So we go back to the Blackfoot Hotel, and we're all swagged out, new 100% T-shirts and sunglasses and shit. So we go into where the hot tub is in the sauna, and there's this chick there, and she's buck naked. So we're like, okay, this is pretty weird. And she had her friend taking pictures of her. So we went in the sauna because we didn't really want to jump in the hot tub with them. And when we came out, all Jess's stuff was gone. So I was all hell bent that we were going to find this girl because she was probably some sort of prostitute, and I guaranteed him that she would have been on Backpage or something. So we spent the rest of the night trying to find her on the internet. But we never found her. And he was all nervous. He didn't know what to tell Noof about stuff getting ripped off. I told him, I'm like, it's Noof, man. You'll think this is the funniest story ever.
Yeah, Noof of all people would be stoked on that story.
Yeah. And I remember that fresh sunnies, and they made it like, 5 hours and gone.
So hopefully that's not happening to him down in Florida.
yeah.
It could be.
Oh, that's good. All right, man. Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget to maintain that main, brother.
Yeah, maintain the main.
Wait, hold on.
Brother.
Hey, I heard the word on the street is that you're going for the premix title now.
I cannot confirm or deny any of these allegations.
Oh, he's trying to fly under the radar.
Are 150s eligible in the premix?
Oh, yeah.
Are they? Oh, damn. Watch out.
Yeah. He's got the big gun.
The size displacement just changes wherever the rules are.
yeah. Is it an east-west premix, or is it just one premix?
East-west.
If I go down south, it's a 125.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys, keep that pod rolling. I'll be listening to it later, and the longer the better.
All
Especially
right.
with that's my crew right now talking.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for calling in. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
See ya.
Catch you later.
What do you know?
Never a dull moment.
So it's now the part where we all say how much we actually don't like that guy, or
Fuck that guy.
What an asshole.
That guy has a greasy mane.
That's semi-true. That's not a lie.
man, I don't know. I feel like he, like that'd be the funniest thing about our rig bathroom more than the dumping schedule. I feel like you go in there and like, look at all the hair product. What's going on in here?
Oh,
That's funny. He looks exactly like the lead singer of this band that I follow, and every time I see like a picture of this lead singer, I always send it to Hayden. I'm like, hey man, how's the tour going? He's like, yeah, pretty funny.
Man, what band is that? It's just hair everywhere.
Hair Nation.
Louis Del Mar, that's my jam.
Oh, that's a good band, actually.
I thought you were gonna say the Coheed and Cambria guy, with just like the frizzy hair.
Oh yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah.
I feel like, did you ever go to Warped Tour?
No, I didn't.
I feel like Warped Tour would be right up your alley.
Oh yeah.
They got all like those bands. You're all into all those like old school bands.
Yeah, I've been to like a couple similar concerts, but never actually a Warped Tour event.
Yeah, I went to one. It was pretty. Actually, the first concert I ever went to was Alexis on Fire, and with Seosin and the Bled open for them. It was sick.
Oh, that's sweet. I saw Seosin once, but it was with My Chemical Romance in Lincoln Park.
Oh yeah,
It was pretty sweet.
Nice. Pull that mic up just a touch.
Oh, okay.
Come on, man.
We're drifting.
Get your shit. I feel like you need to.
Oh, I got the professional adjustment going
There we
on.
go. Oh yeah, there we go. I feel like we should maybe get into a little Buffalo Trace.
Old Buffalo
Oh.
Trace.
Yeah.
This,
I feel like it's about that time.
Well,
courtesy of Cale here.
Kale brought us some Buffalo
Jeez.
Trace.
yeah.
This stuff's not cheap, I don't think.
No, oh, well, like I said earlier, podcast time. You got to channel your inner Rogan, right? And I feel like he'd approve.
Dude, today I was listening to a podcast and I was like, my phone's mangled, as you can tell, but it just randomly put on Joe Rogan episode 1.
Oh, really?
It was like half the episode was him just trying to was a guy just trying to show him how to run the program. But, yeah.
Was it like good though? Like
No, it wasn't good at all.
It was terrible?
He wasn't even talking about anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just like
Like run what program?
run the software to run
For the podcast.
Yeah, because this was like early days. They were doing it
Yeah.
on like Ustream,
Oh,
so it was
okay.
like wasn't even
Yeah.
YouTube. It was like it was some kind of live chat and stuff.
Yeah. I guess everybody's got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
All right, Cale. So I got to ask this question. With your years of expertise and being an eye from the outside looking in, what's it going to take for MX 101 to clinch the titles? This might be a touchy subject, though. Kev might hear this.
Yeah,
and get
I don't
upset.
know.
Did they have someone on 450 this year? Who's?
Yeah, I really don't know what the plan is yet. It's tough. So
Up in the air.
Keelan knows this too, but like we're always the last team to have things in line, and it's like it's a positive and a negative. But like Kev will never make any promises or sign anyone until he knows he can back it up on his end.
Right.
Where there's a lot of other teams that don't operate that way. There's people out there who'll sign this guy and promise that, and then try to figure out how to come up with that on the back end. And sometimes that works out and sometimes it doesn't. So I don't really know what the 101 plan is for this year coming up, but I don't know. I got lots of faith in Kev to put it all together. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
But after the past few years, it's been tough, right? So you had Sean, then Jess the next year.
Yeah.
But then it's been kind of tough, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
What do you think was missing the past few years? And then it's going to be a whole other giant step to try and bring the 450 program up to speed too, right? Obviously, we kind of dealt with that this year a little bit.
Yeah, the 450 was tough just because when you don't have guys signed early, it's hard to get the prep in that you need. And everyone knows COVID was a shit show when it comes to preseason stuff and trying to put everything together. But it's just a bit of a yo-yo, right? Like, I don't think there's nothing crazy. It's just like everything's got to kind of, there's a little bit of luck involved,
Yeah. Like, was there magic there in 17 and 18 that was kind of missing in the past few years, or?
No, I don't think so. We're pretty consistent. To be honest, if anything, we're better now than we were then. Like, I remember those 17 bikes were a bit of a nightmare mechanically. Like, it was definitely a stressful time to be a mechanic.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of DNFs that year, didn't you?
Yeah, there was a couple. And
they didn't want to win the championship, but
no,
they did.
And just freak things. Like, we were, we had new parts fail. Like, you take the old part off, you put a new part on to hopefully avoid these situations, and the new part fails. Stuff like that is tough.
And OEM stuff too.
Yeah, OEM stuff. But like that, if you really want to see where the issues lie, you can start digging through part numbers and look at the ones that change
Yeah.
between year and you go, oh yeah, I wonder why that changed. Yeah, I don't know. A little bit of luck, and we'll have to see what he's doing with riders and stuff. But
yeah, I think in 17 wasn't it the cam chain tensioner or something?
We were having issues with some electrical components.
Oh yeah,
and then we
wasn't it like a air fuel sensor or something?
Yeah, we had a map sensor fail, and we had, not during motos, but several harness failures, just where you couldn't even determine where the failure was. Just you'd put a new wiring harness on and it would fix the motorcycle. Yeah, it was just weird stuff. But they've been pretty solid since 19 in that last generation.
Yeah.
We're icing up over here, huh?
we should ice a guest one time. Hide an ice in their mic or something.
You could do like the whole podcast from an ice bath, like see who can stay in the longest, right?
Yeah. All right, bro. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Thanks, man. I need to drive home.
Well, it's one shot.
Yeah, I don't drink, man. I'm training.
Training for what?
Training for the marathon.
You know,
dude, you said I asked you if you want to do a marathon next week. You're
this
like,
guy,
nah,
this
man.
guy runs 21K, almost kills him. He says, "I'm doing a marathon next weekend."
Well, I thought I was gonna be sore today, but I think I did it as soon I had Dom run an ice bath for me. So as soon as I got home, I jumped in the ice bath, and I feel pretty good today actually.
I ran 15K yesterday, and my knee is fucked. So.
I thought I was gonna be more sore because I tried running quite a bit last year, but I got mad shin splints. But I've been looking up videos on how proper running technique. I got some new shoes, and I feel fine today. I ran 21K yesterday. I ran 50K this week, which is like from not running at all to 50K a week.
Yeah.
Damn.
But you were always cycling, and like it's not like you're out of shape.
No,
you're just not a runner.
Yeah, I find running's a different animal. It's
it is.
It's like, it's hard. My hips and locking up, and
I just like how it's easy to get your heart rate up running.
I think it's one of the best workouts you can do, other than it being high impact, right?
Yeah,
obviously
harder knees and ankles.
Yeah.
I heard that's like one of the biggest things is it's pretty damaging to, or not one of the biggest things, but like a pretty big factor is it's damaging to your blood.
Oh, is
your
it
blood.
really?
Yeah, because the impact actually crushes red blood cells.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And it's focusing a lot of blood down by your feet, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I just got kind of like bored of. I broke my hand a couple weeks ago. Hitting the stupid bag. I hit the bag. I was like doing kicks on the bag, elbows on the bag, and I just wasn't thinking. I like wound up, fucking hammered the bag. Like when I hit the bag, I find this like demon inside of me
your
or whatever,
inner rage,
and I'm just like. I hit it and I'm like, ooh, and then this thing like ballooned up.
Oh yeah.
It's fine now.
You know what you guys need down here is one of those the punching machines. You know.
Oh yeah.
Like
Like the
strongman punch.
Yeah, you gotta do every guest. See who gets the high score.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. Those things probably are a little over our price range. So if anyone wants to sponsor that machine,
there's got to be on Kijiji or something. And like I feel like in COVID times, bars don't exist anymore, so they're probably clearing those things out.
Yeah, probably.
You're right. Yeah.
I was thinking we could do something where it's like you do like a lift challenge. Each guest comes in, see how much they could do, like deadlift or something. I feel like Cale would wax everybody, but
yeah. Maybe.
We'll get Seth Albertsworth in here.
Holy
shit.
Yeah, squat 600 pounds.
Jared would have to redo his fucking roof because he wouldn't be enough weight in here for him.
Yeah.
Those guys are gnarly, that heavy lift guys. I'm not a weightlifting guy by any means, but like I can, when I'm fucking around, I can deadlift like 400, 420 maybe.
Yeah.
But then like, I remember, like, because I don't know anything about that world. I'm like, what's the world record? And it's like fucking 1,800 pounds or something. I'm like, how is that possible?
And these guys pick up like boulders and.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I think, what is it? It's like 1.5 times your body weight is like a standard weight to be able to deadlift.
300 pounds.
300 pounds.
300 pounds.
No.
Wait, what do you?
1.5 times your body weight.
1.5.
Say, what do you weigh, Keelan?
1.5.
Yeah, so 1.5 Take your body weight times 1.5 is what you should be able to deadlift.
Oh, I thought you were
So
saying
two-
like double and then another half.
No.
Yeah, that would be 300 pounds, wouldn't
No, you're not 150 pounds. No, that would be if you were 150 pounds.
it? That would
Not
be
even.
time-
It would be if you
No,
were
that'd be
125
times two, man.
pounds.
That'd be yeah.
It'd be 300 pounds. If I'm 200 pounds, it would be 300
Okay.
pounds.
No, I think you're right.
So
No, you're right.
motocross guys' math skills are not strong.
I do good math at work, but not in the podcast studio.
You're good with fractions and measurements.
Yeah, I'm good at
and-
fractions.
yeah.
I can split fractions like no other, but I don't know.
Not good with the Dewey Decimal System.
Oh shit! The Buffalo Trace is going down smooth. Oh shit!
Wait. Okay, how many of you know what that actually is?
It's like, isn't it in a library?
Yeah, bingo. I was sitting here. I'm like,
got
these guys
nothing to
probably
do
don't
with
even. They probably don't even know what this is.
The Dewey Decimal System?
Yeah, it's like how they organize books in a library.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
We got to take Keelan on a field trip to the library.
Yeah, it's been a while. I thought it was just like where you place the decimal. Yeah.
Nope. Why is it called a decimal system anyway? Like, why is it? I don't get it.
I don't know. We
I
gotta
don't even know how it works. But
consult Wikipedia on this one.
we should get a librarian in here.
You guys need who's Rogan's guy that like looks shit up? Where-
Jamie.
Jamie.
That's
Yeah,
him.
Chris.
That's-
Come on.
I'm a bit slow.
He's
with
also
the-
like in the podcast, so it's kind of tough. He also he runs the he switches the camera angles, and he also looks stuff up. So
Chris is just trying to find his place in this world.
I don't know if there is one.
it's probably
maybe,
not.
maybe there's just multiple places, and you're
You know
filling
what,
you're
there might
filling the
be.
void. You know.
Hey, Cale, you want to project? Anyone on this podcast want a projector screen? I got one here for you.
Oh.
I'm trying to get rid of this thing for a fucking year.
Maybe.
You want one?
Kind of.
There's no. It doesn't come with the projector. It's just the screen.
We
We bought the house
I
and they
thought it was
left it
sold.
behind. What?
I thought this contractor sold it
Yeah,
for you.
the contractor's like, yeah, I can get you at least $900 for this thing. I'm like, there's no way. There's no
it's
way.
just a screen.
It's just a screen.
Are
Is
they
it
even-
white on the other side?
It's white on the other side's white. But the previous homeowners left it behind.
Why
Do
not get creative with it?
What am I gonna do with it?
Let's make
I'm
a,
sure you'll figure something
let's
out.
do the Bent Methods mural
Oh,
on there.
fuck.
Yeah.
Can we like somehow get like a green screen going where it looks like we're somewhere tropical or?
That would be sweet.
You know what? That's not a bad idea, but it's not big enough. I don't think.
You could fit it behind the couch at least.
Yeah.
2 people in the Amazon jungle, 2 people in the possum hole.
I guess so. Yeah, we can do that. 2 people.
That
in the
would actually
library.
be pretty funny to have a green screen behind and put whatever you whatever
Like
you
this-
want up.
We could just do that through Zoom or Skype, whatever. They
Yeah.
do that on Skype.
Yeah. We could have like every guest choose their background. like I want to be under the sea with sharks and stuff. You know.
That's pretty sweet.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so let's get this shit back on track. Where were we at here? MX101. All right, so how's the transition been to get to be at Blackfoot and have like a real solid job that just is you go to work 40 hours a week and you're doing suspension for a bunch of idiots that don't know what they're talking about and
No,
just kidding.
it's been good. You know, because of my history, I was always fairly close with Dean too. You know, because he was the other man, you know, behind that show, and you know, when I became a mechanic, I made a point every year to stop in the shop and visit, and you know, talk to everyone in there, and so like, you know, it feels like home, right? Like
Yeah.
I get along great with everyone in the shop. It's not too new. The you know, I've never been like full-time suspension guy, but because of my history, I'm, you know, competent with it.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Like I'm learning new stuff every day and, you know, putting it all together. And then my background with race team stuff, like to listen to people's input and translate it into what they want. I'm pretty, I can do that pretty well.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, it's been good. I don't have any complaints or negatives. The biggest change for me has just been being on a schedule. Like I was always the guy before where like at MX101, there was always work to be done, but I didn't really have to answer to anyone. Like Kevin was my boss, but it was like, you know, he knew I knew what needed to be done. He would check in every now and again, and I would kind of make my own hours and sometimes be in the shop for 24 hours in a row, and you know, or just kind of make up my own schedule. So it's weird now, you know, being done at a certain time. Like I'm always the guy that, like, you know, you stop when the job's finished, not when it's closing time.
Yeah,
so.
that's a big difference too, right? Because there's the kind of guys, like, I have this at work all the time too, because I'm like I have a higher, like, a management-ish position, like I'm a lead hand. So if shit doesn't get done, it'll come down on me. When a lot of these other guys will just, like, they leave at 4, they don't care. Like, it's not like they're not in a rush to get this done because it doesn't have any there's no repercussions. So I think, but you've always had that kind of, taken on the responsibility of being like, okay, if this doesn't get done, it just has to be done, right?
Yeah, like you know, stopping in the middle of a job and being like, oh well, we're closed now. Like that's a weird concept
it's totally different
to wrap my head around. But you know, it's but it's kind of good. Like it's nice to go home and have a life outside of work where work was my life previously.
Yeah,
you know, and like I don't mean that in any sort of negative way. Like I had chose that. Like that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, like you said, you got quite a few cool experiences out of choosing that work lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's a product of their experiences, right? Like all that stuff is built the skill set for me to be able to do this job well.
Yeah.
So
sweet. Yeah. So you'll be probably out going out to the track and stuff in the spring and doing testing and stuff with people, or?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. We haven't talked too much about that yet because it's.
Or that'll be on your own time, kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm. Yeah, I expect that to be happening, but.
I think that'd be like one of the funner parts of it, though. You think?
Yeah, exactly. It's
probably depends on the person.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't like. It's tough because like I'm used to being with pretty elite level riders.
Yeah,
so
it's a big difference.
Yeah, so where it's like we said before, there's a lot of people out there where the answer is just seat time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough balance. Like, you know, you want to improve everyone's product and make it better, but there's definitely certain people where
all you need is like a spring rate and just figure out how to ride it.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Bit of a different setup of like you're just trying to find one kind of good.
Well, that's just
overall feel versus like pro rider. You got to find a good feel at each condition during the day. You know.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more focus on how many setups you have to do versus like I feel like with an average consumer, like if you went out to set up for me, you just be like, okay, let's just set the bike up so it works decent. Right?
Well, that's just it. Like half the battle is just making sure everything is correct. Like, you know, so many people out there, all their problems would be solved if they would just check their sag.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like you get someone that's like, you know, I need revalves and coatings and like, okay, well, what's your sag? Oh, I got no idea.
Yeah.
Like it's
Jeez.
Well, they'll fluctuate 15 pounds in 2 weeks too. That person.
Not drink any water throughout a day. And they're like, oh, my bike's cornering like crap.
Yeah. Well, and it's still, you know, and this is the cool part about motocross. Like your equipment is important, but there's still a human on this machine. Mm-hmm. So the input you put into the equipment is the majority of the battle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got someone that isn't riding correctly, you know, you can only do so much tuning wise. Like you can't tune someone's riding technique with the clickers. You know?
Yeah. Or you can get the bike the best you can with their riding style, but at some point they need to acknowledge that they'll be limited if they're not willing to change their riding style in certain situations.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like shifting your body weight 2 inches forward or 2 inches back.
Letting off the brakes
20
20 feet sooner or whatever. That's huge. Like right braking. If you switch where your braking is, that's going to change the feel of your bike entirely.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the advantages I have. Like not that I am the world's best rider myself or anything, but I've spent a lot of time with very high level riders and watched a lot of racing in my life. So it's, I feel like not only can I help set up motorcycles, but like I understand proper technique and riding.
Yeah.
So it's, definitely helps with the job.
Yeah.
I think it's also like a bit of a blessing and a curse in our sport is that everyone focuses so much on the suspension side of things, when I feel like a percentage of the time it's not even the suspension that's the problem. Like you could, I mean, I've encountered this, but you can go to your suspension tech day after day trying to figure out a problem, but it could be simply the thing you're trying to medicate is tires, or it could be your spokes aren't torqued properly, or just
or your pivot isn't torqued properly, right? Like you're overdoing that.
Yeah.
All those,
You haven't checked
all those
your
bolts.
You haven't checked your torque specs and
Yeah.
how long and this frame sacked out and
Well, it's definitely like this sport is very like basics up. Like there's, like you said, all that small stuff is always so overlooked. And then, the other funny part is like there's a lot of products out there that exist that actually make your motorcycle worse.
Yeah.
Like
no shit.
people don't realize like the engineers that build these things at the factory are very smart people with resources far beyond most of the aftermarket companies.
Well, and the hours of testing they put into it too.
Exactly.
Like,
So
and how competitive the manufacturers are with each other now to try and sell a good stock motorcycle.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the KTM brand really came out swinging with that by like making such a good bike out of the box that it's made the Japanese guys have to like step up, especially now that you see them releasing these like works editions and like like Honda has one, Cowie has one, Yamaha sort of has like their monster edition, but it's not really
Graphics basically.
Yeah.
black plastic, bro.
it's slick, I guess. Yeah.
Monster Energy.
Well, and it's funny, like, I worked on Yamahas for a long time, but like I don't have any ties to a brand. Like I'm not the guy that's like, oh my god, Yamaha's the best bike or KTM's the best bike. They all have
Suzuki, bro.
Yeah, he's
like
RM Army over here.
Yeah, and to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that bike.
Oh, it's
No.
fine.
And the other one is like the shootout thing is always funny because like you're testing out of the box bikes. Like every bike has something it does really well and something maybe not as well. Like I always thought it'd be a cool idea if they did a shootout where it was like the bike plus $1,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or you make a level playing field where the total value of the machine can be $16,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Change what you need to, whether it's a suspension rate, pipe silencer, anything bolt on that a consumer can bolt on at least.
Yeah, because they're all so close, like, and they're all fixable. Like you see these people like, oh, Suzuki sucks. Like okay, maybe out of the crate it's not quite as good, but like a couple tweaks and it's just as good.
But honestly, for 99% of people, it's fine. It's like you're not going to go any faster on any other bike.
No.
But yeah, me and Chris actually did this little shootout video. I haven't got it all edited yet, but we did a shootout between. I had my 2020 race bike, and I got a brand new 2022 Honda stock. We compared the two. It was actually pretty interesting. Like they're pretty damn close, but
Yeah. They're close, but still not close. And for one being a race bike and one being
a bone stock
stock
out of the box.
like it's pretty surprising.
Well, and it's the same like all my years with 101. Like, oh, here's a funny story. So the year that we had Dakotas, so whatever year it was, where
16, right?
15.
15.
15?
I think 15.
Sure.
Pettis was
15.
16.
Yeah, it was 15 for sure.
Pettis
Yeah.
right, 16.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because they do all blend together all the years.
Yeah.
But so that was like him and Benoit were the two title contenders that year, and Benoit took it. And at Gopher, so I think that was the first year when they allowed us to tech two bikes, where you could switch bikes. Previous to that, it was like you couldn't change frame number.
Maybe. I thought it was after that, but you could be right.
Nah, well,
you could practice and qualify on two different bikes, but then once you qualified, that was the bike you had to race on for the day.
I think so.
Well, whatever year that was.
It was whatever bike he did the hot lap on. That was the bike.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, we had a bit of a fire drill between motos where his race bike was making a bit of a sound, and he didn't want to race it. So we had teched his practice bike, and we pulled it out of the back of his van. The thing was hammered, like absolutely hammered, like wrecked. It had a stock pipe on it still, like it was still dirty from the last time he practiced. And we just teched it because we're like, oh, like might as well, like you're loud. It's a good backup. So he ended up racing the second moto on his practice bike that was clapped and was all over Benoit. After that moto, the KTM guys protested us.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and like not only were we nowhere close to cheating, we were incredibly worn out. I was like, thank you, like I got to tear it down this week anyways. But you know, it shows you like those guys are elite level going for the championship, and he arguably rode better on his stock worn out bike.
You know why they protest you, right?
Why is that?
Because they're like, there's no way this bike should be able to keep up to our cheater bike.
Well, they're, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Not going to comment.
No. It's
because he was on a 2-stroke that year.
yeah.
Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
That was the half and half year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
Or
yeah. No, yeah, that was the half and half here. He raced the 4-stroke out west, and then he raced the 2-stroke out east in the sand.
Yeah. And no, I honestly like. It had nothing to do with the bike. Benoit at that time, the level that guy was riding, it didn't matter what he was riding.
He was really good. Yeah.
He was gonna win. It had nothing to do with. It bugs me a little bit on like, you know, I'm torn because like, we hated him, right? Like we wanted to beat him so badly, and you want to think that he's cheating, but like absolutely not. Like he was just better than us. It was just, you know, he was top of his game.
Yeah.
Well, what was the rule? It was you couldn't touch anything beyond the carb, right? So they could have done like.
So that came in after though. So that year was unrestricted, and then.
But you could do like, let's say the year after, you could do like crazy mods to your carb and get a ton of horsepower.
Well,
still.
Exactly right. So the rule was you couldn't touch anything between the intake and the exhaust. But the other thing too, like it's Canadian Moto, and the people they have that would actually inspect the bike, like, you know, like I can promise you everything we had was legal, but if I was to put something that wasn't, I'm not very confident that anyone would ever catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd almost need like another mechanic, like somebody unbiased to go look at it, because what they had like Paul Kingsley looking at it. And
Yeah, exactly. And
nothing against Paul.
No, I love Paul, but
He's not a mechanic,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, he's an expert in Jordans, but that's about it. I don't know. Have you ever seen that man's footwear?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Between Paul's footwear and Daryl's hair, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, like basically, it's just anytime it's like, oh, let's see if they're cheating, they just take a caliper and check the bore size, and that's it. You could add 10 mil a stroke and no one would ever notice.
Yeah.
But
or deck the cylinder and they wouldn't even be able to tell. Yeah.
Well, exactly, and on a 2-stroke, like just setting your squish correct could completely change that motorcycle, and like I said, no one would ever pick up on that. But it doesn't matter anyways, because like it's still mostly the rider. Like these people that think it's all the bike, or
the bike's gonna. You can a fast bike is not gonna make a good rider, or a rider good. A good rider will make any bike work.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
right?
It seems like half the time anyways, though, like a lot of these guys have these like freak accidents at the races and then hop on a stock bike and then just annihilate. It's like Tomac did it at Colorado, I think last year. He was on a stock bike.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Trey Franklin in like 2012 had his C4 bike blow up in practice and then raced the rest of the day on his practice bike at Edmonton, and they pulled this crazy hole shot on like a bone stock Honda.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Dakotas that day at Gopher, like it's.
Well, there's something to be said for comfort too. Like in Canada, like no one really has the budget to have their practice bikes dead identical to what they're racing on. So sometimes that bike that you're used to can be better. It's,
I felt that way a lot of times. Like, man, I'm just like, because you ride the bike 3 or 4 times a week, and you're like, you're very comfortable with how the frame is set in and everything. Your suspension's maybe a little more clapped, but you're used to it. And I always found that, like, going back to my race bike, I gotta have my practice bike with like 80 hours on it, and the frame's clapped, the suspension's kind of worn in, and it's all like loose. And then you go hop on your race bike, everything feels tight, and it doesn't. It's
fresh grips.
Even the way the throttle responds, you're just not used to that hit on your race bike, so you're grabbing a little tighter. Now you're getting the arm pump on the race weekend. Going, I never get arm pump on practice day. Well, totally different bike.
Just I guess the big thing would be the start, right, for your race bike.
Well, man, like I remember in 2020, I had a twisted motor on my Husky, and I remember the first day I rode it, I was like, man, this bike is so awesome. Like, it's so smooth. Like, just the motor's like so clean, and I just loved it. But then once I got to the races, I was like, man, it's just doing things that, like, I don't know, I'm not really fond of. And as the year went on, I kept going like more and more stock. And then by the end of the year, I was on like basically a bone stock motorcycle. And then at Sandali in the 2020 series, which we did felt like 3 rounds there. I think I whole shotted 5 out of the 6 motos on basically a stock motorcycle.
Well, that just kind of goes back to what Cale was saying about how, like, the stock, like, they've put so much engineering hours into this stock motorcycle. Like, a lot of the stuff is not going to be better for your bike. Like, you put on, I don't know, sometimes stuff is better, but sometimes it's not. Like, sometimes you put on a set of triple clamps and they're too stiff, or you put on a different linkage and it's not. It'll throw the whole bike off.
Yeah, and that's so many people don't understand that. It's very, very easy to go backwards instead of forward on your motorcycle. Like there's some stuff out there that who's paying for this stuff? But
well, that was kind of like the one thing I felt like we struggled with this year at 101, especially Sean and I, was a lot of the geometry side of things in the chassis. And I felt like we wanted like a really long wheelbase, but then I remember you saying one time that the Star guys were going with a shorter wheelbase.
Yeah, and it's tough. And then, so that's the other trap people fall into, right? You can look at another team and it's like, okay, well, they're doing this, but sometimes it's only half the picture. Like maybe they're shortening the wheelbase, but what offset are they running with that wheelbase? Or
what linkage
exactly, right? And it's
or if they're running like an actual stock swing arm or not.
The track develops so different in different series.
It's tough. It's and especially as well as anyone, like our time on that 450 was limited coming in, so it's
couple days of testing.
I know. It's like I saw you 2 hours of riding before the race. I was like, oh, hey, Keelan, good luck.
But man, I'm kind of struggling. So what do you think? I don't know. It looks like Joe's stuff to me. All right.
Yeah,
that was okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, that Joe's forks, I loved them, but they were just too stiff for, they were plush, they absorbed all the little crap, but they were just too stiff for a Canadian track, it felt like.
Yeah. Well, and then I think we ended up in the right direction at the end there, but then I guess health-wise it was
you got AIDS.
Yeah. Is that what it was?
That's what he told us on the podcast last time.
Is that breaking news? 'Cause I don't remember him saying.
He said that. He said he's got the AIDS.
He's got the AIDS.
No. I said I just sat on the wrong toilet seat.
That's what. Oh, you got. Okay.
You never know what you're gonna get at the races in an outhouse.
You get the beaver fever.
Yeah. Honestly,
pooping out some Tim Beavers over there.
Oh man.
Yo, on those, have you guys seen people trying to sell the boxes?
Stupid.
Sell the what?
The boxes.
The boxes of what?
The Tim Hortons Beaver boxes?
Yeah, the boxes that those things come on. Go to your marketplace, and half the ads are people trying to sell the empty box.
Hundreds of dollars. It's ridiculous.
And you can
just the empty box of what?
Of
the Tim Beavers, bro.
Holy fuck. Yeah. Christ, bro. Tim B.
We had some in the shop, and I'm pretty sure they went in the garbage. And I was like, "Were those valuable?"
I was joking with the wife the other day because we bought a few to try out, and it was like, do we keep these boxes? Like,
Are they special Timbits or are they just
yeah,
regular
yeah,
stock
they're
Timbits?
gourmet.
They're pretty tasty.
Are they? Are they good?
You could probably get like some little girl down in California that would buy those for like $1,000.
That's what I mean. Like, they don't have the Timmies down
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
so and they're big Bieber fans.
Let's order some up right now and get them to the
Did you see
delivery.
they got the Tim Bieber fanny pack and the toques and the,
Tim Beaver. Tim Beaver.
Tim Bieber.
It just seems so. Oh man.
Jared's opening a coffee shop called Jim Beaver.
Jim Beavers.
It just seems so like ridiculous to market that. I don't know.
People are all about it. Look at them. They're going viral.
Just like looking at his little photo shoot for it that they like put on the news. I'm like,
I haven't seen any of this.
Yeah, like, you still watch the news?
yeah, man.
No.
He wants to know the latest on the COVID lockdowns.
Yeah, man. I might. Oh, yeah.
Probably should avoid that subject.
Yeah. I might be shut down in my home.
Lockdown.
You know.
The Omicron variant.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
Yeah, we'll stay off of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but back to what we were talking about. Like, I feel like I almost feel like me and you bought those Works Chassis Labs motor mounts. I almost feel like that was almost. It was like it helped in certain spots, but I feel like it was almost overall a step backwards, and I kind of got hung up on them a little bit.
Yeah.
See, that's the other thing too. Like you go and you spend how much on something, and then
You're like, I want this to work.
Didn't do what you wanted. Now you're gonna try to force it to work because you spent the money on it.
Well, and then there's endless options on that stuff too, right? Like they make all sorts of different thicknesses, and then
Soft.
And same thing. Like people see the team stuff, right? So they're like, okay, this team has this one, but like the ones on that bike might not be off the shelf ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and how do you
Right.
know they didn't change them 2 days later?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then
Or they put them on for one race and you think they're running them
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
season, and
Yeah.
then you put them on your bike and you're like,
you know, or maybe they are, you know, the same as what you have, but they have something else on the motorcycle that works together.
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
they
for
got
sure.
like a crazy stiff suspension setting, but then they
they're
put those.
dremeling the inside of the frame to make the frame softer already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Or like with those motor mounts, they could be
Mm.
torquing them twice as much as what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the options are endless, but and again, it just goes back to what we talked about at the start. Like, seat time is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes you got to just ride it and get used to it, and
Let's ride the damn.
Well, I think
bike.
that's the argument that any Canadian would make is we don't get the seat time they do down south, right? Like, why is our series slower, or why are we a little bit behind the pace? Is we just don't have the seat time.
seat time.
I
I
think it
feel
comes
like
down
it's
to that.
race time too. Like we
That's
don't
a
ha- we
big
don't-
one, actually. Yeah,
These guys are racing 29 weekends out of the year.
Yeah.
We're racing 8. And
yeah.
like, you
At
want
the
to
pro
compete?
level, but at the
Yeah.
amateur level, what are they racing like 5 times a year?
Yeah, I don't even know anymore.
well, and just the amount of people too. Like their population is so much higher than ours. There's more
You're
people.
gonna
Like
have
right,
more
It-
success out of that.
exactly. You know, if you throw 1,000,000 darts at a dartboard, or if you throw 1,000 darts,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. What are the chances you hit a bullseye?
Exactly, right?
Yeah. I guess that's a good point too. But yeah, also help riding year round, racing year round helps a ton, right? Like it kind of sucks how we race like 4 months of the year and then we're just like hanging out, drinking beers and whatever else.
Oh, hey, there's a race next weekend, man.
Well-
Start training.
well,
No, I've been running. I'm getting ready.
Is the Honda ready?
She's ready.
What's the settings? Where's the clickers?
She's all stock.
What's the sag?
She's at 105.
How many teeth on the rear sprocket?
I think she'll come stock with a 49. Maybe 48. I don't remember, but it's stock.
Turn that idle up. Keep her driving through the whoops.
Yeah.
Keep her flowing through the turns.
Yeah, I'll put in an extra tooth on the back. Yeah, I don't. Is it next weekend? No, it's 2
Yeah,
weeks.
see, and this guy's saying we got issues up here in Canada, why we're so far behind, and he's not even putting in the work.
I'm not a racer, bro. I'm washed up. I'm a runner now.
he ran once. He's a runner now.
I ran 4 times actually.
I ran 50 kilometers this week, and I'm a runner.
I am. No, but I'm not a racer. I mean, I might race a little bit, but not really. I'm not a professional.
Yeah.
We need Bent Methods ambassadors out there, man.
That's
Come on.
me. That's me. That's me and Chris.
That's
You're
right.
the
Get out. Well, get on the line.
On the line.
for what?
How's Brooks Arena Cross? Let's go, fellas.
I thought you meant like on the internet line. Like you got to get on the line.
Online.
Cale's gonna wrench for all three of us.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I don't
You know what? I still got the 125 kicking around. That's a
Let's do it.
perfect arena cross bike.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much.
I think it'll actually be kind of fun. You know.
Are you gonna race it?
I think so. I think I'm gonna go.
It'd be fun, but
Even if I don't race, I'm just gonna go. Well, we talked about going.
yeah, we're going. We're setting.
yeah.
We're setting up the booth, bro.
Yeah. Just to, I think it'd be sweet to get some indoor racing flowing again.
I think
back
it's
in
cool.
Alberta.
Like it's a great idea.
And it breaks up the winter too, you know. Like I think that's
Yeah.
the coolest part about the Future West stuff is
Mhm.
it kind of like breaks up the winter for them out there. I mean, they can ride year round, but it's still a grueling winter out there with
yeah.
how much rain they get, and so
I think this year's a good year for it too because it's not like we've had like a real winter yet. We have people have been riding still. It's not like you're taking 3 months off of the bike and then you're hopping into arena cross. Like people have been riding up until like a couple weeks ago. So
yeah. No, I think it. Yeah, I mean, we've kind of lucked out the past few falls here, but hopefully it kind of takes off and maybe snowballs into something more next year. I really hope it does.
yeah, that's good. There's no downside to it really.
Yeah, I miss kind of having some. Actually, I was at my parents' house today, and I was my room there. My mom still has like a bunch of trophies up on the wall, and there was actually a Lethbridge Arena Cross trophy from like
yeah.
2009. And I was like, oh man, like it'd be kind of sweet if we had a series going.
The Brooks Arena looks pretty nice too.
Is it? I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, right across from the track.
Oh, that's a like a new arena too. It's
Yeah.
pretty
brand
legit.
new
Yeah.
looking, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be out there hanging out. Is not next week, but the weekend after, right? Or is it
Not
next week?
this weekend.
Yeah, this
the
coming
weekend
week.
after.
Yeah, that's
17th, 18th, 19th.
So practice day, race day.
Yeah, and there's a school on Saturday morning, the first
Yeah.
race day.
Cool.
Are you instructing, or who's doing the school?
No, local rider, Charlie Johnston, manages the track here in town. He's coaching as well as Ryan Lockhart. He's flying out. Yeah, actually, I was talking to a couple of those BC guys this past week, and Lockhart actually said that a bunch of people were planning on coming, but with the Coquihalla being shut down,
Oh.
he's not sure now, but they are able to drive down through Princeton and then up through Kelowna, or they could continue on to Creston to Cranbrook.
Yeah.
Or they could go up through Whistler too if they really wanted to. That's an hourly.
No, that's
That one's gone
actually
too?
yeah. You can't go through Pemberton over to Lillooet. I'm
Truck driver.
trucking business. I
knows
know
the
the routes.
roads.
Yeah.
He's on top of it.
Yeah, it's definitely been a bit of a
You gonna be-
mess weather-wise out there, huh?
Yeah, and it hasn't stopped raining. It's crazy.
Really? Is it still just a
Still
shit show?
going.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, it's sad, man.
It's terrible.
It's crazy when these like little natural disasters happen, and then the world just like freaks out. Like everyone said, just next day, like the grocery stores empty.
Everyone buying
Well, it
everything.
just shows you like how we're too reliant on one system, you know, like
Yeah,
everything's got to come from one spot. Well, let's maybe change that in the next several years here.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we don't get screwed over.
Yeah. Well,
and it kind of shows like how vulnerable we, like I guess in a subconscious way, acknowledge that we are. It's like as soon as we realize like we might be screwed, everybody like battens down the hatches and buys as much food as they probably can.
yeah.
As much toilet paper as they can.
Yeah. Whereas somebody that probably knows how to hunt or something, they'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll be good.
I've been thinking about that too, because like, man, we're very fragile. Like, man, imagine the power grid goes down for a week.
Yeah.
It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be chaos. Like, I think
Oh, yeah.
next year I want to learn how to hunt. I want to learn how to like, legit though. Like, if you can hunt, that's a big part of it, right? You catch
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
but
He's getting ready.
Even just knowing the principles of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
hunting, because
How-
you could go try to hunt right now yourself. Like, okay, you think kill an animal, but you know how much energy you'd probably waste doing that?
Yeah.
yeah. And you gotta learn how to like slaughter or like butcher the
Gut it,
thing and
yeah,
gut it, and like
yeah.
you gotta learn to like like you
Cure
have
it
you have no
properly,
refrigeration,
yeah.
right? So you're gonna be fucked.
Get some deep freeze. Oh, but
Oh,
the
there's
grid's
no
down.
power.
There's no power, bro.
The grid's
Yeah,
down.
we live in Canada, so as long as it's December on.
Yeah. Oh, thank God it's December. I
Yeah.
can throw the fucking deer outside.
Just start doing a bunch of jerky.
Yeah, you'd have to. You have to figure something out, right?
Yeah.
Because
Well, I see you got a bunch of rabbits running around here. You could just start trapping them. Do your own rabbit jerky.
yeah, maybe. I saw on my half marathon the other day. I saw a coyote. He was like
Oh,
20
yeah.
feet from me. He's like,
And
just
did
chilling.
your predatorial instincts start to kick in? You're like, this is testing me.
No, I was like, there's a guy behind me with a dog. I'm like, get your fucking dog out of here. There's a coyote there. So,
you warned this guy?
I
You
was
said,
I was the hero of the day. I
oh
was a
man,
hero.
Jared and his community service. See Jared out there tomorrow putting his sign up. Keep the fucking dog out of here.
Oh shit.
You know, that is the interesting part of where you guys live here, because I'm new to the neighborhood, but it's I think we're like 3 kilometers apart or something.
Not
it's,
even.
It's not very
We're
far.
close. Yeah, not even.
But it's cool because you can go from like full city civilization to like feeling like you're in the wilderness in like 500 meters.
Yeah,
Like being right on the park here is pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fish Creek is it's pretty wild. They got like actually I was running yesterday when I was running my half marathon. I saw signs bears in area in Fish Creek.
Bears.
Yeah,
But there's
pretty
probably no
cool.
bears. But
well, that's nice. You don't have to go far to hunt then.
Yeah. But before it got cold, I was walking from home to work, and it's cool because like you're going through the city, but I can get almost all the way there, like
on the river.
Yeah, like without
Yeah.
seeing any city stuff. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like I'm going down the sidewalk the whole way. Like
Yeah.
it's through the park. Like the one day there was like a bald eagle at the river. I was like watched it for 10 minutes and
Yeah.
then kept
Yeah.
going. Like not a lot of cities you can do that.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I think this city. We probably take it for granted because we lived here our whole lives, but
Yeah.
man, this city is awesome. It's kick ass. We have so many bike paths. We have a lot of park, like the Fish Creek Park, the Bow River pathways, and everything. It's awesome. Like you can feel like you're outside of the city. It doesn't even really feel like you're in the city when you're.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's city. You have all the amenities of a city, but you can still do like all the outdoorsy things. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's wild too about this area is how wide the demographic is. Like, you have kind of your mountain folk who love skiing, getting outside, hiking, whatever. But then you kind of have like a little bit of your equestrian folk and your rodeo people and
Toronto Raptor fans.
we got these here.
Yeah.
Do we really?
Have you not been downtown in a while?
No, not in like 2 years.
Well, when was it they made their little run? That was like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't
20
know, man. I
or
don't know
2020?
basketball.
Was it 2020?
2020? Yeah,
Or
whatever.
2019?
I don't
I
know. I,
think it
don't
was
watch
2020.
basketball.
I gotta
close.
turn that damn. You guys want to take a pee break?
Yeah, sure thing.
I gotta turn that damn
Sure.
heater off.
Mm.
Are we pausing it?
Yeah.
All right.
We're paused.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, we are back. Second half Bent Methods.
I feel like you got that nice radio host voice. Welcome back to the show.
Lo and behold.
Where?
He's like the announcer at the strip club, right?
Yeah.
Not quite that.
We got Ruby Rocks up in there.
He's more like the announcer at the auction, like
I'm the
Eminem.
motocross announcer now. It's official.
Yeah.
It's my
Yeah,
new
we
gig.
should,
I'm quitting my job. I'm announcing motocross.
yeah. We
Guess I
should.
put the camera on. There we go.
There you go. Get that on there. But yeah, doing the announcing's fun. I like doing that. We did that a few the Super Saturday series, whatever you call it. They're called Super Series, not Super Saturdays, because they're on Sundays.
On every day now.
You guys are getting the hang of it. I don't
It's
know.
fun.
I couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm sorry.
You're too close-minded, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna say something offensive about
See, you're too
somebody's kid.
self-conscious there. Well, I
am.
did the one day. The one guy's dad got all mad at me because the kid was sandbagging, right? And then he pulled off the track, and I was like, "Oh, it looks like he's taking a dive, like whoever it was that did it in the 250 class." I
Oh,
can't
Malcolm
remember.
or no, Plessinger.
No.
A dive.
Yeah, who hurt his back, like a McElrath or J Mart or these 250 guys that don't race the last round.
Yeah,
so
they don't want to point out.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah,
so I kind of made like a reference to that. This kid and his dad came up all a little. Hey, don't be saying that on there. He's it's the only class he could ride.
No, it's like he was back to back on the other class, so we had to go in this class. So don't be saying that. I like honestly doing this. I didn't think I would piss anyone off doing the announcing, but it pissed people off. They're like, you definitely piss people off, and there's no way around it.
I don't think we pissed too many people.
A couple people came up and said some shit, but it's part of the gig, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually pretty fun to do the announcing.
Yeah.
We're gonna be.
It's a little nerve wracking watching some of these like 50 and 65 kids try to send it when they're not maybe quite ready.
Yeah.
Even the older classes, like the last day there, I don't think you were there, Jared, but
no,
the vet master class guys were landing on each other like every moto. It was
that's right.
It was hairy.
It's this a track, right? The track is so fast, and there's like these turning jumps. Yeah. And off the start, people are landing on each other off the dragon's back because people are checking up, and then people are jumping from the inside. And it's just like, I don't know. We've tried.
Maybe you should make a run at being on the board of directors. I think you'd be a good advocate.
When's the AGM?
I have no idea.
They
probably keeping it under.
That's problem number one is we
When
don't
is
know
it?
when the AGM is.
It should be in January, I think, sometime, right?
Yeah,
but
they're keeping it under wraps.
I think we should go. I think we should all go.
We should all go.
We should have some points picked out and go because there's definitely some things that need to be changed.
We should get Cale there. We could say this. Our friend Cale.
He's
been around the block. He's a seasoned vet. He knows what to do.
Yeah, we should do that.
All that stuff is tough, man. Like,
it's hard because you're trying to appease to the vet riders, to the beginner riders, and then you got the pro riders that actually know what they're talking about like safety issues and things that can go wrong that they've seen throughout their career, and they're like, they don't want to listen to it because the vet rider likes this jump this way.
It feels good railing berms.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like challenges that we don't know about from the outside looking in, but at the same time, is it like anything where there's a little bit of you need a fresh atmosphere, fresh face, fresh look at the sport, because the sport has changed from what it was 10 years ago, what it was 20 years ago, and some of the guys we have on the board, they do a really good job, but they've been around forever, right? Like, so they might not like, I'm not picking at anybody here, it's just all hypothetical, but they might be stuck in that older way of thinking of, here's what motocross should be, or here's the way we run motocross, versus we're looking at it as this like fresh new way, and even us, we might be behind the times too, you know, because we're jaded by how we were looking at it 10 years ago. Even.
Yeah, and we're not on TikTok and stuff.
Well, the Calgary scene's changing too. Like, just after the pandemic, and then the uptick in just sales for the industry in general has been crazy. So it's like this whole new flow into the track, and then probably even the off-road or areas in outskirts of Calgary have just been seeing an uptick in people coming out, where it's like when the population increases, you kind of have to get with the times. And that, I mean, I rode a lot at Calgary in the spring, and that was probably one of the bigger issues was just the amount of traffic that was there, and them kind of not really accounting for it.
You know, like one of the things, like I got to give the track credit for that. After being away for a bit, I saw when I kind of returned this year was they got some good signage up of like advanced, beginner, intermediate track. They got track direction going. They got good like steps in the right direction for sure.
Everybody forgot how to read.
There lies a problem where their responsibilities on the user, kind of, right?
Well, that's just it. We've got to this point where like people have forgot, like it's on the rider. Like a lot of the times when something bad happens, or a novice rider crashes, like sometimes it's just, you shouldn't be doing that, you know?
There's
like,
no personal responsibility.
Exactly. And
that's kind of the way the whole society's gone lately.
Like it is motocross. Like, this isn't golf. It's not for everyone.
There are risks.
Yeah. It's a extreme level sport. You gotta, like I said, it's not for everyone. Not everyone can can handle it.
Yeah.
I guess the tough part is do you rely on expecting the rider to do the right thing, or do you just keep trying to enforce rules the best you can?
I feel like it's probably a bit of both, right? Because the rider in the moment is going to do, like, they're full of adrenaline. They're going to do things that probably aren't the right thing to do. But you also have to have guidelines in place to steer that rider in the right direction, I guess.
I think the tough part is with all the new faces you see at our or the Calgary facility, and probably with a lot of facilities around Canada, the U.S., and probably even the world too, is a lot of them are probably like gravel pit warriors a little bit, where like, yeah, maybe they went and rode a bike once, and then they're like, damn, you know what, maybe like I really want to get a bike and actually get into this, and then they come to the track and they're just like, they're reminiscing about that one time they went and shredded at grandpa's gravel pit, and they're think they can just show up to this facility and do whatever the hell they want. And it's, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a it's always been a rebellious sport in a sense, but yeah, I don't know, the consequence is high if not everybody's on the same page out there.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I feel like it's not that a lot of the obstacles at the track are dangerous per se, but they can be dangerous in a race circumstance or like a high intensity circumstance where people are all funneling into one area off the start. But yeah, I don't know. It's like
there's a serious issue with the main track, and there's a serious issue with the hill track. And I think the way I see it is you make the track as slow as you possibly can without being like too tight and not raceable.
Mm-hmm.
And you make the obstacles as hard as you can possibly make them, because the harder they are, I think the safer they are.
I agree
to an extent.
So this is where I get into an argument with people where, like, I think you need to leave tracks as rough and gnarly as possible because
100%.
because you can't get the speed then.
Yeah, it
like,
slows down.
Like, everyone thinks like, oh, we got to groom, it's dangerous, it's rough. Like, the roughness is what keeps the speed down. When it's a highway, everyone feels like a hero.
Yeah. Beginner riders are going 110 miles an hour up to 110.
And especially as bikes get easier and easier to go fast on, like, you have people that have no business going fast, going very fast.
Yeah.
And it's all good until it's not.
I agree 100%. But yeah, like I feel like like Keelan said, the main track, the hill track are way too fast. Way too fast.
The one track that actually like kind of has the right thing in mind, I guess, for what I'm thinking for is the east track. It's kind of awkward. Like I'm not a fan of like some of the obstacles out there, but it never really feels, at least with the layout now, it never really feels like it's a full on to full off. Like you're kind of flowing around the track. It's got an awkward flow to it, but it's never like it's never from like a point A to point B as fast as you can possibly go and then brake as hard as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. It's like it kind of just like it's got that kind of in between a little bit, you know. Yeah. Whereas like the hill track is so bloody fast. And I mean, they made one recent change with, like, there was that straightaway in the bottom down by the train tracks, which was just like a death gauntlet, whatever you want to call it. It was nuts. Probably
2 kilometers of just wide open, right?
Yeah, at least that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And now they got a bit of a chicane in there, and it's like it's tricky. It's actually really tricky, but that one change actually, I think, kind of changed the flow of that whole basically quarter of the track. Like the entrance and then the whole uphill and after that as well. Whereas like before it was just like 4th gear wide open down that straightaway on a 450, 4th gear up the hill on a 450, and then 4th gear wide open back down the hill on a 450.
Yeah.
Like not even shifting.
Well, I think that's a good point because it doesn't take much. You don't have to change much on the. You have to just add a little bit of a meandering turn. That's what they did, right? You come out of that bottom turn, you go right, and you go right up the hill, and then you go left, and then go back down a little bit to the right, and then through the rollers.
Yeah, it's a pretty aggressive chicane. Like,
and it's not perfect, but it does slow it down quite a bit.
Yeah, and I mean it didn't create more race lines by any means, but it definitely it made a section that was way too bloody easy, a section that's actually really hard now. I don't I've ridden it maybe once or twice, and trying to rhythm through there is near impossible on a 450.
Well, yeah, I honestly don't like that rhythm, the roller section in general, but
yeah, but
I think it's just a little awkward. It's not, the spacing's not right, the height's not right.
Yeah, but at least now it's not like you got a pro rider going through there, going double, fourth gear, wicked.
Up the hill.
And then a little 65 rider puttering down the middle, not jumping anything.
That's the biggest problem I've always had with the hill track, right? It's because the speeds are so high, the track is so narrow, there's so many blind jumps. I feel like I'm always just gonna mow someone over. There's been countless times where I'm just gonna land on a 60 kid and just without even knowing it.
Yeah, I think, but I don't know, and then you see with the main track where it's some of the features are pretty big, but you have a lot of opportunity to hit them. It's if you make a mistake out of the corner, whether you're a junior or a pro, your chances of hitting that jump are still pretty good.
See, I thought about that because I thought the same thing myself, right?
Okay.
Because the Mountain's Edge, you got to fucking wind up to it. The International's got to wind up to it. The rest of them, what do you bitch about every other podcast is you're turning up the face, right?
Yeah.
So you don't really have a huge run up to them. The problem is the corner is still wide open. It's not a tight corner right before it, right? You're coming into the corner in third, fourth gear, even you're not downshifting.
No,
you rarely downshift on that track, other than maybe after the Mountain's Edge and
after the International,
right before the finish line, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thing. Is it's less about the run up and more about the
approach.
Apex of the approach.
Yeah. Actually, you know what's funny now that you mentioned that is I think back to the times where I have made a mistake in those corners. I'm probably hitting those jumps on a safer angle, screwing up the corner than I would be if I railed it, because a lot of them you're turning up the jump face, but if I got stood up in the corner, I'm probably hitting that jump
you're just going bop
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of that double-edged sword to think about it that way, but I'm just thinking about that Dragon's Back, right? The corner before that, you think it's pretty sharp and aggressive, but what gear are you in through that? At least third, I would think.
Yeah, third.
Right? If you were thinking that jump, the corner forced you to downshift to second, and then you had to even grab a gear before the face of it. That's where an expert rider comes in, is being able to grab a gear on the face of a jump or right before it. And that's why a junior rider won't hit it, is because they can't grab that extra gear, grab that last little ballsy shift.
Or just try and get every bit of lift off they can.
Or actually hit that corner in third gear and, that a junior rider can only hit it in second. But the corner, the way it is right now, vet rider, junior rider, pro rider all hit it in the same gear.
What was the issue we were seeing at the last round of Super Series where it seemed like a lot of the beginner classes and then the 85 classes were crashing on top? I can't remember.
People were getting landed on.
It's a 40-foot jump, and
I think it was all off the start, right? All off the start, was it not?
Usually off. There was sometimes where it wasn't though. You'd have. For some reason, a lot of lappers too. It's the same thing you hear about the Glen Helen vet race. Too many guys on the track in some cases, where you'd have 2 vet classes and the ladies or 80s or something out there. Maybe it wasn't even that. It just seemed like a lot of people going around that turn and that jump at the same time.
Yeah.
To where it was you had a certain level not jumping it, a certain level barely jumping it, and then a certain level jumping it. So there's kind of this widespread skill on the track, and for some reason it was
Chaos.
Yeah.
chaos.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I feel like that's what the 80 class is too. It's a widespread skill range because you have like the Dexters and the Shellboy MXs who are pretty good, and then you got some of the newer entrances and stuff, and they're lapping them like every few laps at times.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, Cale, you've been all over. Your expertise is definitely on the East Coast. I mean, I've only been to like club in Eastern States and then whatever we got for Canada. And I've always noticed that like the Eastern tracks compared to the Western tracks are a little bit more narrow. Seems like there's some smaller features, but everything seems to be a lot more technical than what we have out west, whereas everything out west seems to be a little bit more racy and faster.
Yeah, it's tough because your guys' soil's so hard too, so it's harder to let it get gnarly and rough. Like the speed comes in because you are on highway-like terrain out there.
Yeah, really.
Because like I'm all about, you know, you gotta till it deep and water the shit out of it and like create something where unless you're good you can't go fast, and maybe you'll have more crashes, but they'll be slow speed crashes.
Exactly.
Right? You don't have someone holding it wicked and yard sailing. Like, you know, it's supposed to be difficult, you know? That's...
Yeah.
I always like looking at, like, the Euro practice tracks, right? Like, you look at those and you're like, oh, man, like, that doesn't even look fun to ride. But when you grow up riding that, it just creates such a better base, right? You get people that grow up riding something super easy and they feel like a hero, and as soon as you put them on something that's challenging, something bad happens.
Yeah. And that's kind of, it sounds like that's the struggle, at least for the Calgary crowd, especially when we get to the race weekends, is it seems like they kind of experiment almost every other weekend on track prep, and then they just get a whole influx of riders kind of making their comments, and whether it's good, whether it's bad, it kind of dictates what they do for the next weekend. But whenever it's deep, kind of technical, and if it does get rough, it never seems to be that great of a response around here. And
which is like,
it goes back to what you're saying about what you grow up on.
Yeah, you got to start that at the bottom, right? Like I said, this is motocross. It's not for everyone. It's supposed to be gnarly. Keep it that way. You know what I mean? Like don't soften it up. You know, it's like like hockey, right? Like them trying to remove body contact and stuff, right? Like how do you create an elite level hockey player if they've never been hit before?
Yeah.
You know,
afraid to get hit.
Well, I feel like
afraid
that's
to hit a rough track.
I feel like that's a problem though with like, maybe not on a race day, because there's no problem creating a gnarly track on a race day because you got tons of riders out there right away. It's like during the week, how do you replicate that? Because they've done that before where they've ripped it deep, watered it a lot, and people won't go out there. And then all of a sudden it's marbly and it's clumpy and it's dry and it's shit.
I think there's definitely, I think that's probably the key point about it all, though, is as far as progressing as a rider. And I'll use Dylan, right, as an example, especially the past few years being with GDR, or, well, he's been there 4 years now, maybe.
Yeah, 4 years.
Or longer. I can't remember, but
2018, I think, or 2017.
And and then probably spending endless hours ripping around Gopher Dunes. And I mean, that track, like, just the way it shapes up, you got to get comfortable getting kicked around. And no wonder, like, he looks so comfortable being squirrely, because he's just used to being squirrely all the time. Like, when I go to Gopher and I get my ass kicked by a bump, I'm shutting off. But him, he's just like, keeps it wicked. But like, it's
tough, right? As soon as you start catering and making like what I would call a soft track or an easy track, like you get stuck, right?
Yeah.
You get your whole crew used to that. That's what they come to expect. And then you get complaints when it's not like that.
Yeah.
And we run into the same thing out east too. Like sometimes I think the answer is just put the fucking dozer keys away and let it develop.
I agree. Like,
there's a ton of fun days of riding where the track is the shittiest conditions ever, whether it was blue groove or kind of rained and it was nasty, square edge ruts and shit. Ton of fun to ride those days. But then you remember what it's like to ride a freshly tilled track and feel like a hero and just hit corners wide open. You're like, shit,
yeah. I feel like we have too many vet riders in Calgary. Not to shit on the vet riders, but we have a lot of vet riders that like to just feel like heroes.
It's the same thing everywhere.
I mean, not to shit on them. They like what they like, but they're going to honestly develop if we had one day where we got, like, even if it's hard as shit, I don't care. If it's hard pack, blue groove, but there's good ruts and good bumps in the corners, I say we fucking leave it. Just leave it. That's my opinion.
Do you remember when they would leave the track after the National for like a week?
It was no one wrote it.
Yeah, it was fucking shit.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
But so
sometimes you gotta weed out the people that don't belong.
Yeah, but then the track's like, my money, members.
Yeah,
that's what I was just gonna say. That's one of the big differences where we think that we look at somewhere like Unadilla, right? And we're like, oh, we should have a track like Unadilla. Like, they don't have the greatest dirt. They don't have, this, that, the next thing, but they don't also have to host 6 days of riding a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I think there's a big difference in that. When you're hosting 6 days of riding a week and you do have to cater to the guys who have money, aka the guys over 30, or even over 50 now. That's a difficult trade-off for a track, I think, to make.
Yeah.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate a little bit here. I'm on side with, like, making everything as professional as we can at that place. But
I think, I'll just want to kind of add on what Chris was saying there too, and it kind of popped into my head when you're talking. And I think another big challenge we face is our climate here. It's so dry,
windy too,
and it takes like no time at all for our track to dry out, and it takes constant prep. Like, to keep up on it, and that's the one thing I notice out east is you could hammer like a backyard track all year long, and it could even not rain for a good couple weeks and still be half decent just from the rise and fall in humidity throughout the day and night. Whereas like out here, it's like the next morning that thing is toast.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge. Like, even like I got it's kind of funny the other day, like I got this little mouth guard I sleep with because like I'm starting to have sleep apnea, so like keeps my airway open. But I put it in like the denture cleaner or whatever, Polydent, and I got this little cup I put my mouth guard in, and then like I left it in there for a few days, and I came back a few days later and there's no water in it. Like, it dried out from the dry atmosphere. Like, all the water was gone. So, yeah.
Jeez, Keelan, dentures.
That's how I relate to the moto side. That's how I know the track's going to be good. It's like, oh, yeah, my denture water's still in the cup.
Track's going to be mint today.
Better put my teeth back in.
Yeah, that is for sure a struggle for you guys. Your terrain is hard and dry out here. So it's,
But even, like, going into Raymond, or we would go to Whitehurst and ride that sand track sometimes, it's like, man, you're getting so much more value for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it like something actually really clicked with me this fall when I was kind of having some kids come out and ride at my parents' place with the arena cross track I have, and I remember the first day, a few of them came out, and they were just all so ecstatic. And one of them made a comment. They're like, this is so much better than boring old Calgary. I'm like, these kids are like 12 years old, and they're already saying Calgary's boring.
Yep.
Like,
well, again, they ride it 6 days a week, though. Like, shit, we get super bored of Calgary because we ride it 6 days a week. When we haven't ridden it for 6 months after winter, it's the shit. It's like, oh, this place is wicked. Throw whips over every jump, but then
but when we
3 weeks later, you're like, fuck this.
But when we were growing up, it was like every other month we had a new track.
Yeah, we
did.
Or we had the sand track.
Dude, but some of those were bad. Some of those track designs, and like you'd get, what's his name, Langley or whatever.
Landon?
No.
Oh no, Lamley. That was it.
Lamley.
Was it Lamley?
Something like that. I can't think of the guy's name.
Anyway, you'd show up for a Thursday night moto, go behind the 110, and here's this fucking Supercross double section back there. To your surprise. So there were some bad mods. You'd get the Brian Proc Navy goat trails. You'd get everything. So you'd get a lot of variation, but not all of it was good. Let's clarify that.
You know what though? Like I guess like hindsight is, I'd rather have tons of variation of just like whatever shit layouts during a week to play around on, just to like keep like,
during the week,
corners
but
on.
to race
You gotta have a good layout.
Yeah.
But like that's what I don't wonder, or what I wonder is like, it's like, man, just like for a random week, just go throw a lane on the start straight.
They refuse to do that.
You know, just to mix it up, throw a couple cones out there to add a couple corners into the track. Like
well, that's where it was like, people have controversy with Landon at the track there, but I thought it was sick when he'd like combine the east track and the hill track together.
Yeah, just like a couple sections.
Just like a little bit, right? It was just a little variation for that day. It was like, sure, it was kind of a little janky sometimes. So it was like transitions between tracks were sketchy, but
you'd be stoked to hit something new.
A little bit, right? You'd probably complain about it for the first, hour of the day. You're like, fuck, this is a little, I don't know. But after you find the way through it, it was sweet.
Yeah.
It's funny, I haven't been around the Calgary tracks too much, but like one of my first times just walking around the property, I was like looking at that, and I was like, why aren't these combined? Like, I'm like, why isn't this one track?
Yeah, now they got fences everywhere too.
Yeah.
That's kind of the tough part now is that like they got so much quality fencing, and that kind of limits the layouts, especially on the main. Like that one little infield area kind of limits the track a lot. Right?
And just having the over-under too. The over-under, where they have that
like
position.
The man-made features.
It really kind of, you can only do so much, right? Unless you turned it backwards, I guess. But
I wish we'd utilize the bank on in front of or I don't know what you want to call it, like towards Shaw Valley in front of the finish line. We used to like kind of come up that bank a bit and turn on the side.
Yeah.
I wish we just utilize
things
like that. There's a little bit of natural elevation that
not too much fencing grass there now. Yeah, but you're right. Like I remember those days where they used every ounce of landscape they could.
Because now it's just kind of that flat upper section, and we've got some good natural terrain in the back and whatnot. And Shaw Valley, of course, is good, but the top is just flat.
Yeah,
Brooks.
Shaw Valley's good though. I love when they put Shaw Valley. I feel like that's exactly what the track needs. Right, they slow it down quite a bit. There's tight turns. There's elevation.
It's weird, so it is hard to find a flow on it.
I love it. I love Shaw Valley.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Like weird, awkward, ruddy, chewed up. Like I want to feel uncomfortable out there. Like for me, I would rather ride your corner track than anywhere that I've seen around here.
Yeah.
Because it's so shitty built. It's terrible.
It's just a
you're
shit track.
so uncomfortable.
But that's like it doesn't, like the ruts are awkward and it's choppy and like you have to think about what you're doing.
You're feeling engaged, right? You're feeling engaged in what you're doing, not just like, I've come around this corner, let's hold our fourth wide open for the 600th time.
Well, you got to stay on your toes out there at the MTF, because you hit a gopher hole a little funny, and then you're going into the barbed wire.
I could go to jail for how many gophers I murdered out there.
I don't think I killed any yet, but honestly, that was like, man, you showed up late, but it was the most fun I had riding in quite some time.
Yeah.
It was good.
Is your turn track still the same?
Yeah, I've actually
dude, that place is fun.
I've ridden a little bit over the fall here, and every time I've been riding it backwards.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even determine, was I riding it backwards or the right way?
You were going clockwise.
I don't know.
What were you riding? What were you riding?
What was I riding?
What were you riding? What bike?
Team Green.
Yeah, I got a Cowie.
You just how long Mister just got it?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
It's actually Vince Freeze's 2016 leading edge bike.
Did you buy it off of Dale or whatever?
No, I don't even know what the guy's name was. It was just like it needed some love. It was it wasn't in leading edge condition when I got it.
It was in C4 MX postseason condition.
Oh yeah. Like C4 as in like blown up. But I've been kind of like piecing it together in the garage after work.
Sweet.
And rode it out at Keelan's.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, so let's get back into this then. So what is it? What kind of happened to make you transition away from racing into the more of the mechanics side of things?
I had like a real bad shoulder injury where all of my rotator cuff tendons, where my pec attaches at the top and where my bicep attaches, all basically peeled off the bone.
Oh, really?
I think of like a chicken leg, right? It just stripped all the tendons off. Yeah. And it was a really long time from injury to surgery where I struggled with you guys have all experienced Canadian healthcare, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But it took a long time for them to figure out what I'd done. You know, there was lots of go in, x-ray, oh, there's no broken bones, come back later. And
6 months for an MRI.
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up having to get an MRI done in America and paying for it because I couldn't get one done up here in a timely fashion. And so surgery on my shoulder, and they like pieced it together the best they could, but I never did regain external rotation, so like I can't move my arm outward at all.
Like that way?
Yeah, like I got nothing that way. Yeah. So it was like I can ride casually and sort of, but like if I get any sort of head shake or something goes wrong, it's game over. So it's just like, you know, it's not like I can't ride, but like it was the end of my progression as a rider.
Yeah, you're never going to be able to, you feel like you're never going to be able to reach your, like a high level of.
Yeah, exactly. And not that I was like the greatest ever or anything, but like I felt like I was progressing well as an amateur rider at that time. But and then I just always enjoyed the mechanical side of things. Yeah. Like, you know, in school, like I really enjoyed shop class and that sort of thing, and always tried to work on my own bikes. And it was just like an affordability thing too. Like bikes are expensive if you're bringing them into a shop all the time, and I was definitely not an easy kid on equipment and broke a lot of stuff. So, and then like was just always surrounded by like good mechanics and stuff. Like I would, you know, when the races were on the East Coast, I would be hanging out under the Blackfoot 10 and watching, and you know, got to know some of those mechanics there and stuff, and like I always thought it was really cool. So it's like, if you're not going to be a pro racer, like what's the next best thing? So it was moved that direction.
Yeah, not a bad route to go down. It's kind of like, it keeps you in the community.
Yeah.
I always thought I wanted to be a race team mechanic, but man, I don't know.
But now you're team manager.
Team manager, yeah.
I don't know. I've seen how you wrench on your bike sometimes.
What's wrong with my bikes? I take tip-top care of my bikes.
You know what? Jared's gotten a lot better in probably the last 5 years.
Oh, yeah, 5 years for sure. Well, I was a kid. Like, what am I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, bro.
Actually, you know what was pretty wild was, it's not even to, like, razz on you, but, like, that day we were out at my place, and your bike was just, like, cutting out, and after, like, Paul working on it, and then you going through it so many times, and then all it was that stupid little connection on your battery.
Yeah.
Like, his battery post was not tight enough.
Yeah.
And his bike just, like, kept shutting off. And he was having a meltdown out in the field.
Pissed.
And then we tighten the battery up, and then he goes out and pounds, like, a 40-minute moto.
Man, it can be frustrating, though. Like,
yeah.
Jesus.
It was like it almost, like, broke your spirits for racing that season. It was just like one stupid little thing. Yeah. Oh, I mean, after all the crap you had to deal with, though, it'd break my spirits too.
Oh man, yeah. I was on like my third motor.
Yeah,
we're riding quite a bit at like at White Press and stuff, and I was just we're bagging the shit out of our bikes. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
I don't think you realize that because you ride 450. It's not that hard. Like, it's not like you're.
power to weight though, man.
Yeah, I know, but
Power to weight. You said you weigh, what, 150 pounds earlier in the show?
No, I said 300 pounds. Divided by 1.5.
but man, it can be totally frustrating with. That's the funny thing you said about the 2017 bikes. You had a bunch of problems with it. I put 120 hours on my Yamaha in 2017. I didn't even open the valve cover.
Yeah, well, like never any problems mechanically, like
Electrical you're talking about?
Yeah, just weird, just weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of sensor issues, and they they were famous for like water temp sensors. The pins would break all the time. Like inexpensive parts, just stuff like we were literally changing every electrical component every weekend.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how much harder, like, people don't realize this, like, how much harder going to a national is, like, going and racing a national, than it is to just, like, ride. I could ride for, like, 3 months straight, and then I go to one national, and my bike is destroyed.
Yeah. It's actually an incredible test of equipment. Like, even, it's funny as a mechanic, right? Like, your rider could do a 30-minute practice moto, and you're sitting there, like, you get in tune with the machine, you're listening to the bike, but, like, anytime I've ever ridden a motorcycle back from the podium, like, they park it and they hand it to you and you take it back to prep it. Mm-hmm. You get on that thing and you start it and you're like, this thing sounds like there's like something gonna fly apart.
Yeah,
because everything is hot, right?
Yeah.
And like
it's making crazy noise.
Yeah, like every time I'm like, man, what's wrong with this thing? But as soon as it like cools down, like it's just like that next level of intensity that you can't reach in practice.
And like the deepness of the dirt and everything, right? Like the more intensity, the dirt's deeper. You're on the clutch more, right? Like it's a whole different thing. Yeah.
So you wrenched for Jess in 2018, right?
The
year he won his championship.
Pettis?
Yeah.
No, I worked for him the year before his championship.
Who were you with in 18? Marco.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was always in like, I guess kind of like a crew chief position. So Kevin would always try to place me with like the new guy or whoever he thought needed the most help, right? Mm-hmm. Like, because I'm not the guy that's trying to chase mechanic championships,
Yeah.
Like I said before, like I was all in on the team, right? Like the team wins, not the individual.
Yeah.
So it's like I always want every member to do as well as possible. So put me with the guy that needs the most help, right? Like,
bro, how come you didn't wrench for me this year?
This guy needs all the help he can get.
Yeah.
Keelan, nobody wants to deal with your headache.
You were
they gave me the frickin' dozer mechanic.
Oh, Pete.
No, Pete was good.
No, Pete's good. Yeah, I can't really explain this year. I probably should have been with you. Maybe we'll have to work on that. But
What's the first thing you would have done to Keelan's bike?
Remove all the stuff hanging off the side of it.
My legs would have been flying off the back.
Yeah. Keelan's favorite thing to do is he likes his bike to have wings or something.
I gotta work on my adductor muscles. My groin muscles aren't strong enough to squeeze.
No, but honestly, we just needed more time. Like, it, typically, like the whole team kind of moves south right after Christmas, and we have that whole time to run through stuff. With Keelan last year, it was like very, very, very last minute, and I, not Keelan's fault, but I had taken on another job in the winter, so that kind of took away from my time with MX101, where, there was some positives for me, but COVID really threw a wrench in everything, right? Like everything was so uncertain. It was hard to move the program south. I had to fly down. You couldn't drive down.
Doesn't make any sense, but sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's we could talk for days on things that don't make any sense.
I think too, like even just from the outside looking in a little bit, it seemed like just having the whole 450 program through wrenching things, especially it seemed like you handled it pretty good because you knew you had to get done what you needed to get done, but I felt like Kev was a little bit of a fish out of water trying to navigate everything, like a much bigger team for him, and then also trying to manage like 4 or 5 riders.
Do you guys have the same rig as you did last year?
Yeah. It's
and making sure everybody needed what they needed, and it you can even tell like it seemed like a lot for him, you know.
Yeah, and it really is like, you know, we're a pretty bare bones crew, so it basically doubled the workload with the same amount of humans in charge of everything. So, you know, and he's got his own business to run on the side. Yeah, everyone gets stretched thin for sure, but you kind of gotta do the best with the resources that are in front of you, and it's not always a perfect situation.
Mm-hmm.
I guess back to kind of asking about Jess, and then I wanted to ask about Sean too in 17 there. What would be the 2 biggest things that stood out between, I guess, in contrast between those 2 championships? Like maybe what was more stressful, what things maybe seemed to click really well that led to a championship for those 2 years between 2 different guys.
Yeah, it just so much of it is a confidence thing for the rider, right? Like when we first picked up Pettis, he had come off of a lot of injuries and, you know, lots of mechanical problems, and like it takes a while to get them comfortable and trusting everything, and it's so much of it is a trust in equipment thing. Like once you learn that like you're on equipment that can win, it all clicks for them, right? Like it's so mental from the rider side.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know, it's a hard thing to explain.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess I'm curious because I don't really know too much about how the season went the year that Pettis won.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really involved a little bit with the year that Sean won his championship, and then the amount of crap he dealt with, and it seemed like at times it was just the championship was not meant to be his.
Yeah.
But
well, and then it just competition wise, like at those times they were the best riders. Like there was no one, like when Sean won, he was the best guy on the track. Like he deserved to win. Like his speed, he was the elite guy. And same with Jess in the following year. It's but it's all about getting the guys to that point, right, where they're confident in themselves and their ability. It's a tricky thing to navigate. I don't think there's no manual that gets you there, you know.
No.
It's there's a lot of moving pieces.
That's probably the hardest part, though, is trying to figure out the tools that a rider needs to get the job done, and being able to actually present them to them.
Yeah.
You know, with what you have available, and the budget and logistics, and that's a huge challenge.
Yeah. Well, and you guys are into all the sports stuff. Like, there's a reason that like sports psychology is such a big business, right? And why so many like elite athletes utilize services from those people. Like it's so much of it is getting your head in the right mind space to perform at your best.
Yeah, and I feel like in 2017, I feel like Sean wasn't the favorite though. Was it Thompson the favorite? Thompson was the favorite.
I think didn't Thompson move back up that year?
Nope.
Or no, he was down. Yeah.
He was Sean wasn't supposed to beat Thompson, but he did.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it went through a whole slew of guys that seemed like had to run at the championship that year.
Well, Surratt, Thompson. I think Thompson got hurt, but Sean was still leading the points.
Osby at one point was kind of in there.
It's funny because like you guys are watching from the outside and looking at everyone. So like I was very focused on my own guy, and like you're always, you know, rooting for your own guys. Like, so it probably looks different to me than it does from the outside.
Yeah.
But like I remember watching, going, like, my guy's the fastest guy.
Yeah.
We just need to keep this all together. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
man,
He was.
Calgary was like next level.
Yeah, he went down. I remember he went down. I passed him, and I'm like, "Just go, you go. You're gonna go to the front. Go." I'm like trying to let him by me, and then he crashes again.
I don't know if you were. Well, you probably were there that day, but I remember there was a practice day at the Calgary track, and Purcell was there. Were you there?
Yeah,
for that?
yeah.
And like, Sean had Purcell covered, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that day, I was like, this guy's gonna win.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that was probably like my favorite day watching him ride.
Yeah. So is he coming back? Like, I heard he's thinking about retiring.
I don't know. Keelan's the one that asked that. I think I haven't heard anything.
Let's get him on the phone.
He's probably working right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Working
He's
there.
West Coast. He's an hour behind, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're behind. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of the battle with our sport, and I know that's kind of the turmoil he's dealing with right now. Is like, I think he feels pretty content with what he's done with his race career and kind of ticked off all the boxes. I know there's for sure one he would like to tick off, and that's win a 450 moto. But yeah, I mean, when it doesn't make sense, then what's the point? Like,
Yeah.
I guess you kind of get to a point where it's just you're not running off of piss and vinegar anymore, you know? Like, you've been there, done that, and it gets to a point where it's not purely out of love. And I think for sure for him it's been that way for a while, where it has to be a business. You have to be able to pay your bills every week and or every month, and yeah, when you're not able to do that, and maybe it just doesn't make sense anymore, and you can't just do it purely out of love, which is sad, you know. I think a lot of racers that quit don't really want to quit for the reasons they're quitting, but they kind of have to. But it's really sad for a guy at his level, that there's not that financial backing there, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of people come and go is what it is. So we'll see. I know he's like open, and like we're in the MX 101 group chat, and everybody still bullshits every day. So I think like the door is not closed for him, and I mean, not closed for me. I know I'd like to race next year at some capacity, but it's all got to make sense. So.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem, right? With okay, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, with that being said, and the schedule drop that we've seen, has that made it more enticing to go racing, knowing that there's gonna be more than just an East Coast series?
But they've said that for the last 2 years,
This
and
is
then all of a
true.
sudden
This is
the
true.
COVID gets bad. Nope, we're going east
Yeah.
again. Right? I don't know.
Maybe we'll go all west this year. 6 rounds at Calgary.
Yeah, I know, like, it doesn't really get me fired up because I've been racing the series for 10 years now, and it's kind of the same old crap, and I'm starting to have external factors with hoping to retire my parents soon, and then I got a girlfriend that is becoming less and less enthused about
who maybe doesn't want to be a girlfriend, maybe wants to be something a little more.
Maybe. Yeah. Just gets less and less enthused about me being away every weekend. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that everybody deals with that. And, yeah, I obviously can't speak for Sean, but hopefully they come west. I mean, I think that's important just for the industry, and then all the racers out here, and then their, I guess, their loyalty to the Triple Crown Series.
Yeah. If they come west, I'll race Kamloops and Drum. I'll do it.
Not Manitoba.
I'm not going to Manitoba.
That
bro.
track in
Fuck
Manitoba looks sick.
It does look sick, but
you know what? Manitoba has like the best. It's weird.
Yeah.
I feel like they have the best track, and
No,
other than McNabb, the worst riders. Like,
How dare you?
like on average.
DJ Burmy rips, man. I don't know if
There's some good. They have
Uh,
like. I feel like they're just so
Josh
isolated.
Penner rips pretty good too.
They're so isolated. Remember Ryan Miller, bro? He was the best.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Miller actually.
He was
shredded.
he
was
was
good.
sick.
Yeah.
He was sick. But yeah, I feel like they're just so in their own. I'm not going out there, dude.
No.
No, I'm just at this point in my
going.
life, I'm racing for fun. Like I will race as long as I can keep it all fun. Like I've spent my
You
years.
saying going to Manitoba is not fun?
It's
man?
too
You
far.
stop at
I
a
gotta-
moose jaw, get a selfie
Dude.
in front of the moose.
I gotta go to work on Monday. I got too much other shit on the go.
This is your work.
My work is my
Why don't
welding.
you? So you were gonna cycle back from Walton?
No, I will do that.
Instead of
He's got no time for that.
you
No, I will
can
do
run
that.
back from Manitoba.
Yeah, I'll do that. But like for racing for me is more like now I'm like I've spent my time making it my life goal to be the best motocross racer I can. Now I want to do it because I want to have fun, and I'm like the minute it's not fun, I'm not gonna do it. It's just it's a different thing now. My mindset is totally flipped. I've done it for long enough. I'm never gonna be Canadian champion. That's fine. I did the best I could, and that's what it is.
Provincial racism out of this guy.
Holy crap!
Did the vet classes pay out?
No.
I think they
No.
do. They used to.
Oh, they do in Ontario.
Yeah, dude, you could rake it
I
up
thought-
in the
I
vet
thought-
class pretty quick.
Yeah, I thought Vetmaster actually.
Yeah.
does.
I think it does.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't
Yeah.
have fun racing those races anymore. I just like.
What are you talking about?
Well, dude, you're
What-
gonna
like-
have a little guy to take with you to these races
But are you
soon
gonna?
enough.
I was like, so I was asking Manitoba. You're saying you're not going to Manitoba.
too far.
And then you don't have fun racing in the vet class,
I never said that. I said I don't have fun going to the local races.
like
That-
Super Saturday.
No, Super Saturday is fine, but go into like these provincial races where like you sit around for
Oh,
17
yeah.
They gotta
hours.
get their
Maybe.
And you do like four.
Maybe we should
4
do
minute motos.
a Bent Methods race series where we just change up the game.
We'll do it at Keelan's track.
Well, I was actually,
Keelan's-
I was thinking I should hold a race. I actually looked into. I asked Noof how much it would cost to get insurance, because you definitely need it out at my parents' house.
Yeah,
But yeah, holding like a little Supercross event.
that'd be fun.
Call it the Bent Methods Rodeo.
Yeah, the Bent Rodeo.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that's kind of the name's taken though.
The three.
Wild Rose might get mad.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We'll call
Bent.
it Hoedown.
Bent.
What did you used to call all the parties?
Shindig.
Was it a shindig? The
Hoedown?
Bent shindig?
No, that's not the right one. I know the word. I know you're
It's
thinking
some
of.
country term. It's a country
Hoedown?
song term. No.
What was it?
Oh,
Jesus
Lord, this
Christ.
is not good.
Dude scooting boogie.
No. It needs.
Little
It
honky
needs.
tonk or
Honky
something.
honky tonk.
It needs to be a jamboree. That's what we're
Jamboree.
doing.
Jamboree. It's a jelly bean dance.
Come on out for our
The Bent jelly bean race.
jelly bean race. I don't know. That'd be sick.
That'd be cool. I just want to do laps on the corner track. That's all
Yeah.
I'm interested
The
in.
corner track. How is the corner track doing these days? Pretty good. Like pretty fun. Like same
I don't know.
same kind of feel. Like it's funny that we went out there and we watered the shit out of it. We ripped it as deep as we could. It just never formed up different.
Yeah.
Why don't we hold a race at Keelan's, a race out at Jerry's? We only
Have
gotta
a
find one more
circuit.
We
backyard
could do Jerry's.
track, yeah.
Landon's for the grand
Landon's
finale.
and the Paul Lavoie's.
Paul Lavoie's. We could do Paul Lavoie's.
There we go. The backyard series.
But like the local stuff is, and you can kind of see this. Well, sorry, the provincial stuff, and then you can kind of see that the Super Series is starting to go this direction too, with just ridiculous amount of classes.
Yeah.
And it makes the days long.
You know
Yeah.
what? Maybe we all need to switch gears altogether and head to the bush.
Let's go to Bush.
Yeah.
Your significant other is a
Well,
Bush legend.
That's just it. I've been slowly converted into this logs and fucking leaves and things.
Logs and leaves and branches.
Cars and leaves.
Yeah. It's it's funny, like the complaint on motocross is all the a million classes and sitting around. It's like kind of hard the opposite with that stuff. Ride for your few hours and get out of there sort of thing.
You almost ride too much.
Yeah.
Keelan's got off-road plans.
You do.
I called Kev the other day. I said, man, I'm gonna have a backup plan. Just letting you know. And he said, all right. So yeah,
Is this an enduro cross announcement or?
No, I mean, I'd like to do some off-road racing, but
You're pretty good at. You did pretty well at that, like the rocks and cocks and logs or whatever.
And leaves. Don't forget the leaves.
Cocks and logs and
Well,
leaves.
there was some snow at that one too, wasn't there?
You done pretty well. Like I was pretty surprised how well you did at those.
actually, you know what's funny is I did a lot better than I expected, and you know what? I had 2 goals. Cale's gonna love this one. So my first goal actually was I wanted to be the fastest moto guy. And then my second goal was to have faster times than Lexi.
man, that's tough. She had me covered at your corner track. I was like, damn it.
Yeah. So I think I achieved both those goals. But,
Way to go!
Yeah, that was pretty stoked.
Is that the golf clap for Keelan? There's a slow.
Yeah, big goals to achieve. Well, I remember somebody was like, "Oh yeah, I think Nick Collins is gonna have Keelan covered." I think that was Todd. I was like,
Todd doesn't.
"Come
know
on,
shit,
bro." I was like, "Jeez."
I don't think Todd said that.
I think he did.
I don't think it was Todd. Todd doesn't even know Nick Collins.
Barely. Somebody said that, and it fired me up, and I was like, pfft. I even remember. So I was like kind of prepping for that at the enduro cross track in Calgary, and some of the guys that like off-road regulars were kind of giving me a hand and tips on how to hit stuff, because I was like, it took me 2 weeks to like prep for this race, and I was struggling. Like the person's bike I borrowed, I probably was very upset that they lent it to me. Like that thing got pretty trashed. And then when the race came around, I actually like beat a lot of those guys that were giving me a hand, and like 3 of them didn't even make it to the main. And they didn't even like give me a good job after the race or anything when I like had seen them, because they were just so choked that the day went kind of rough. But I was pretty grateful that they gave me a hand.
Did you race the pro class? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think I got like 6th or something.
That's pretty. Yeah, I remember you like did pretty damn good. But it's crazy that like a moto guy can just hop into an enduro thing like this and do a race pro, right?
They mellowed it out a bunch as the day went on, but it was still like
I remember the first
open racing. At
the beginning of the day, it was chaos because there was snow and everyone was just like half people weren't even making it on the track.
Yeah, I hope they make it downtown again, because that was
so cool.
So cool.
That was cool.
But it just sounded like it was such a challenge for them, just with the city, and it sounded like it was a bit of a bylaw challenge too. Where
I bet.
Like people just complaining about the noise and whatever.
Yeah, but
it wasn't even
during
that
the
bad.
daytime, the noise doesn't matter. It's so fucking noisy downtown during the day with
Traffic
the construction, traffic,
and not like
hobos yelling and just
hobos
doesn't matter,
yelling.
man. Like,
and it's not like the bikes were wound out on that track, right?
Well,
it was like
it just sounded like it's just, if you were away from it, like if you went a couple blocks away, it just sounded like a bunch of people farting off in the distance.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Like it just wasn't that loud. Like it wasn't like Colton Haker was celebrating after each moto, like revving the piss out of his bike.
Yeah,
but
that's a cool event though. I think I hope they bring that back.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Like I got big respect for those like do it all guys. Like like the Sipes program. Like that's the coolest thing to me. Or like, you know, closer to us. Yeah, Tyler. Like he just anything with 2 wheels. He's got it figured out.
yeah.
It's and I think it'd be good for more people to be like that. Like all those bike skills just help you, right?
Oh, definitely. And you don't really see like, how often do you see like an enduro guy that can go and lay down a top 10 in a moto or like national, right? Like you don't see that very often, but you can see the guys like Tyler or like even like Heelan did at the Cox and Logs or whatever and leave. They can go and they can translate their skills to the enduro thing. Not to shit on the enduro guys. Like Tristan Hart actually can lay down some good moto.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at moto, but you don't see that as often.
He's in the 129 club.
Yeah.
What's the 129 club?
Lap time,
the 129 club.
Me and Tristan.
There's only 2 guys.
No, I'm in the 129 club.
Yeah, only 2 guys.
Not you, bro.
I'm not in there.
Not you, man.
I'm not diversified.
It's funny
enough.
because me and Tristan Hart we're going back and forth on the Swansea climb. I had the King of the Mountain, then he got it from me, then I got it back from him.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that like Riley doesn't have that.
Riley's not in that good a shape.
Doesn't he have some comms though, like going down?
Going down, yeah, but not going up.
Oh, which is pretty sick for him.
He's good. No, he's really
Like, he's
legit
got that
going
place
down.
dialed.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, Tristan is an animal. After each year, I gain more and more respect for him as a rider. Just like I never really realized, like I always thought I was super dedicated, and like I mean I'm proud of I'm proud of the effort that I put in. But the more I get to know Tristan and the world he lives in, like I'm really impressed with the effort he puts into his craft.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I've been so motocross and supercross dedicated the last several years. I wasn't really aware of who he was until recently, but like I've rapidly become a really big fan of that guy. Like
super nice dude, super cool guy.
Yeah, like he doesn't know me, but like any of the times I've met him, super polite, super cool to talk to, and like the bike skills are unreal. Like so good at riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, and he's like he's kind of like a Colton Haker, like doesn't have that off-road goony style. Like
he's like very
he looks good on a bike.
He looks like aggressive on a bike too, like very aggressive riding style, like smashes into logs, like and elbows up through like rock sections and shit like that. And then on the moto side of things, he flows like super smooth.
I'd love to see him at a national. I think he would surprise a lot of people, because I think in our world there's still a lot of people who don't know he exists.
Yeah.
And they would very rapidly know he exists.
I think he'd be top 15.
I think he could this is nothing against Parker Eels, but like I think he'd be like a Parker Eels
I
speed.
agree. Yeah, I agree.
And I mean, like actually it's not nothing against Parker.
He's a great rider.
I mean Tristan Hart's a Red Bull athlete, and he's a Red Bull athlete for a reason. Like he can rip.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think he'd be a top 10 dude.
I guess depending on what the class looks like. Yeah.
Well, you give him some time on a track too, and a real bike with some setup,
and I think
he knows what he's doing on a bike.
When he's fit, right?
Yeah,
and give him a few rounds too, just to get the vibe of the intensity again. Right. It's like I think he's raced like a couple pro nationals a while ago.
Did he really?
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I thought he did.
I know he raced Super Series,
Super
Series, but
I think he did when he was on Husky.
And I thought he did pretty well too. Like
I think he's like top 20, or maybe even better than that, like top 15. But like just get the feel for the intensity again, like a couple rounds, and you'd probably be laughing.
Yeah.
You know what? On that, like, 'cause we're sitting here like, oh, how did he finish? We need a Canadian version of like the vault. You know how?
You can't even find results from like 2011,
right?
Oh, you can't find results from 2019. Like,
I think since the Triple Crown took over in 2018, you can get results. Yeah, no, really, there's nothing.
Well,
before that, there's nothing.
There's nothing. Yeah,
like you could totally lie. You could totally lie on your resume. Like, I got podium at 2016 Calgary. Yeah, that was me.
Like I got podium. I won the championship at the Canadian Super Series of Alberta.
But you got to think, like, those results have to be somewhere. Like, are they not in a magazine?
No, dude, they're gone. They're on my resume. Gone. That's it.
Like I'd love that, the Racer X Vault thing. Like you can go by rider, like choose this guy's name. There's all the results, right?
We'll get the bent vault going. We'll get the bent. We'll have to somehow recover all these damn results. I don't know how.
With all this time,
we need a computer guy.
Yeah.
You're on it. This is your new mission.
Time, yeah.
I remember
a little top up.
I remember one time, it was pretty funny. Like Sean and I think we were down in California, and we're reminiscing about. No, I'm good, thanks. We're reminiscing about Nanaimo 2013, and that's when he got his first ride with Andre at OTSF, and then that was kind of like my year where I was hoping to like kind of break out a little bit. And I remember the very first moto, it was pretty rough for both of us, and I think he had like a cracked collarbone or something, and then I had like knocked myself out at the end of the race. But I had told him, I was like, dude, like I was kicking your ass at moto. He's like, there's no fucking way you were beating me. I was like, yeah, I was. He's like, there's no chance. Like, go look at the results. And yeah, sure enough, like bring up the results, and I was ahead of him before the moto ended. It turned into a bit of a quiet day after that. Yeah. Competitive buddies.
What track was that?
Nanaimo. I think I was sitting in like 5th, and he was like 2 positions behind me.
What year was that?
2013.
That is a great track.
Nanaimo?
Honestly,
I fucking love that place.
I did. Yeah, I
It's
love
cool.
it.
It's a shit track, but
Yeah.
My favorite part was taking the ferry, man.
Yeah, you know what?
It was
not
fun.
until you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God for racing with your parents, eh?
No, I had to pay for that shit.
Yeah, the price for like bringing the semis across was out of hand too.
Yeah.
I remember I took 20.
Oh, and you had to hide your fuel. Do you guys
Oh yeah,
remember
that was such a joke. That's like another scam they have on the government. You have to hide your fuel. You can only bring fuel across.
Yeah, the fuel in your gas tank, it's not flammable, but if it's
Yeah.
somewhere else,
You're allowed to have X amount, and the fuel in your gas tank.
If it's
fine.
in a sealed shipping container from the manufacturer, like VP or someone, no good.
no.
But I heard something one time about them having like leading edge or something, having to ship their fuel on a separate ferry that had to go through like some fucking crazy route.
Well, there was people I heard that were like just hiring like some local fishing boats, like just like, hey, you want to take our fuel across?
Wow.
It's such a joke.
But it was like, the track itself, not the greatest track in the world, but it's like a fun experience, especially when it was the first round, right? Like, it's very, very nice part of the country to look at.
Yeah.
You're on this boat, like it's like a cool build up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was like probably the coolest part about the CMRC days is, to me at least, it resembled the MXGPs a little bit, where we had like such diverse tracks. Like you had Nanaimo, which was just like rock and shale, but yeah, cool experience. And then Kamloops, which kind of sandy, but like brutally rough. And then we had the road to Baghdad there as well.
Oh, I missed that. That was the
gnarly.
sickest thing ever. Back in 2012, 2013.
And then you roll over to Calgary, like downtown.
Blue Groove.
Yeah.
It was a real.
Yeah.
You'd get like a real cool view of everything, right?
Yeah,
It's
and
so
every
cool.
track
It
was so unique, right? Like Moncton, Gopher, like
It-
Alverton, Sandalee, St. Julie.
It was like, it's funny because I see both sides of it. It sucks running a team, like your fuel expense in those rigs is insane. But when it was like truly like it was coast to coast,
Yeah.
from the island, then all the way to the East Coast, it's like you get your like tourist thing going on where it's like, all right, I'm going to have a Nanaimo bar on this side of the country and I'm going to have a lobster roll on this side of the country. There's something to be said for that.
It gives some kind of like prestige to the series, I feel like. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
it definitely felt like a different level of like when we just did the East Coast round last year. It was like,
It was a provincial
it's
series.
kind of like it doesn't mean as much.
Yeah.
Like
It was nice logistically, I guess. Well, sort of.
Yeah, not bad, right? Like
It's like, that's a tough deal, right? Like it's
tough when you're a business operating.
There's a lot of different opinions on that, but I think it mostly boiled down to cost for the teams, right?
Yeah.
You got to look at where all the teams are based, and that's
not Sky Racing. Sky Racing's based out west, bro. What about Sky Racing?
They got their helicopters, man. They can fly up.
I wonder what happens to them this year.
Do you think they find more sponsorship dollars because of that, or do you think it's kind of a?
I don't know.
Well, it's like you don't ever want any teams to go away, right? Like
No.
I hope they get everything they need.
I hope so too. I mean, Sky Racing gets a lot of shit, but when I rode for them, it was like, I mean, I also went into it like I wasn't like expecting the red carpet roll. I understood what it was, and I'm like, okay, this is what it is. This is a great opportunity for me to get myself out there, and it was great. But I feel like people that are coming in like expecting it to be like a factory ride, they're gonna be like a little disappointed. But
I think you gotta respect where it started to where it's at now.
Oh, it's done great things.
Yeah, like Al's put a lot into it, and I mean, it doesn't look like a factory rig, but honestly, from my opinion, that's almost how we should be racing in Canada.
Agree.
Out of
I
sprinter
do.
vans.
Well,
ask Phil Jenkinson, right?
Well, and especially if he's diverting the dollars into other areas of the team too, right? Like maybe the dollars weren't there the first few years of the team, but now he's going on what, year 5, year 6?
Yeah.
Something like that.
2018, 19, 2020. Yeah, 5.
Okay, so he's going year 5. So
if he comes back,
if the dollars start flowing now, it'll be interesting to see if he tries to upgrade his rigs, or maybe he has another bike in the trailer, or has another this, or does takes the team down south to do some testing. Like you said.
Honestly, though, like his rig probably costs as much as what like a full semi would, but at least he doesn't have to have a driver.
You know how much he paid for that awning on his fucking tent, on his van?
I heard it was like near $30K.
No,
100.
No.
100?
100.
Okay, well,
Wow.
I was there when it happened.
No way.
But
100.
the nice part of that program is the fuel cost, right? Like, people don't realize. Well, you know, Mr. Trucker over here, how much fuel one of those things goes through. Like if you had to drive your big truck or your Sprinter across the country, the difference is in the thousands.
Yeah, I mean, like right now, it's not a good time to try and be a team with the cost of diesel.
No.
And
Nope.
yeah, it's depending on the truck. I mean, I'd say on average, like most trucks are, I don't know, 800 to 1,000 liters, really depending on the size of the tank. But yeah, you get 2,500K, maybe more if you're being nice.
Yeah, like I think, we didn't even have the full size trailer, and we're 6 miles to gallon on that thing.
Yeah,
like those things drink fuel.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the whole series thing, right? To when you're trying to cut costs, the travel is the easiest way to cut costs.
How many people do you think are going to show up to Calgary Intercross at the last round?
I don't get that.
They're gonna have to figure out something logistically.
Well, this is where I was thinking the other day, like this would be a great opportunity for someone like Blackfoot Direct or Blackfoot or whatever these dealerships to just like say, hey, buddy, boy, Quinn Amiot, whatever, here's a bike for the weekend. Bring your suspension, throw it on.
That's tough. I think that really depends on how many demo bikes a dealership.
100%.
So,
but if they had that opportunity, that would be a great way to do it.
That's
right?
The problem in today's world is the demand for motorcycle far is exceeding the supply. There's no
big problem, right?
There's no surplus motorcycles right now.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like get in line and hope you get a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I think like my idea for the coast to coast arena cross thing is like, nobody's as enthused to go race arena cross as they are to go race outdoors.
No.
And especially when the return's not that high. But like if you want people to show up and you want to have the content to post on your app for the world to watch, like you gotta have more incentive for people to go, or make it easier for people to go. And it's like, I think it's cool that they're trying to bring the indoor scene to Canada. I think it's definitely a big hurdle, but to me it's a no-brainer to like, why not just load up one of those semis and it's like, let's say GDR,
everyone collaborates and
GDR comes out and GDR is like, all right, like if you want to race the full AX swing, this is what it costs to throw your bike on.
You know what this sounds like, Keelan? It sounds like an opportunity for you to do like the Teddy Parks Jr. experience.
Yeah. Teddy Parks
You already got the truck. Get yourself a trailer.
Meslin transport experience.
You gotta like pressure wash a little bit of cow shit off your bike, but we'll get you there.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
I mean, I actually, you know what's funny is I've thought about it a lot, because like it is like, we all agree that this sport's so wonderful, but there's just so many challenges to keep people involved, right?
Yeah, the money's not there. It costs a lot of money.
A lot of money. It's
a lot of work.
And then just the logistics of it, like the logistics of like just going to ride is insane. Like when you're a hockey player, it's or
a mountain biker, or mountain biking. Like that's one thing I've learned since I have been racer, it's been like, okay, I go mountain biking, I can just go throw my mountain bike in the back of my van, and I can drive 20 minutes and go ride, and then I just throw it in my van and go home.
Which is and that's true, right? But that's even mountain biking in the grand scheme of things is a logistically challenging sport
compared to like hockey or
soccer and basketball. Like probably soccer and basketball are the two easiest ones. Like you grab your ball, throw your shoes on. Yeah, football.
Actually, basketball and soccer, you really don't even need another person. You can just kick a ball at a fence all day long, right?
Yeah.
Or shoot the ball at the hoop.
Yeah.
Football, you need someone to catch the ball, someone to throw the ball.
But it's walk down the street. You got a court, probably. Yep. However many blocks away.
Shit, you put a hoop on the front of your garage.
Yeah. But then like mountain biking, you got to drive. At least for us, if we want good mountain biking, got to drive
45
minutes to an hour outside of the city. Like even skiing, like you gotta drive a couple hours to get to a hill. And then moto, it's like we're so fortunate in the city, and I think, but anywhere else, like let's say California, it's like we all go there and we don't mind driving a couple hours to get to a track, but it's still a couple hours to drive.
Or it's at least like in 45 minutes or something, right? Yeah.
And it's still a hike though, right?
Yeah.
But
you're not working, so you don't mind doing, like you're on
Yeah.
vacation,
Yeah.
so to speak, like you're training and shit, but
then
you're
on
not pressed for time like you are here, where it's like, okay, I gotta work 9 to 5, gotta get the groceries, gotta make my woman happy, gotta do this, and then ride,
and prep to ride. And prep down after the ride.
Wash the bike, unload the bike, do an air filter, oil.
It's funny. That's like I tell people all the time. It's 1-to-1. Like if you ride the bike for 1 hour, you need to work on your bike for 1 hour.
Sometimes,
like,
sometimes.
for sure.
And like it's been a long time since I rode full time, but like I'm always like every time I start my bike, it's $100. Like your gas to get there, your gate fee, the wear and tear on your bike. It might not be $100 that day, but if you average it out, and that was like, me crunching numbers 15 years ago. It's only gone up from there.
Yeah, for sure. And it's almost to the point where like you can get away with spending less, but it's to the point where you don't even feel safe on your bike. This chain's gonna snap any day now, or this bike's gonna lock up because I haven't changed the oil filter in 3 months.
That's one of the biggest differences, though, to like clarify for somebody listening. Like, a beginner isn't gonna go through the parts though. Like, it sounds expensive for you guys because you're hard on the bikes, you're wearing chains and sprockets, so you're wearing oil change needs to be done because you're revving the bike out. An average guy isn't going through parts like that, so it might be a little more economic
can get like
for them,
right? 7 or 8 hours,
which is funny because why now? Like I don't know. I'm like slowly maybe thinking about turning into a woods guy because it's like you see those guys. Like racing moto, even at like a junior level, I always felt like my bike was done at like 50 hours.
Well, the stakes are so high, right? The stakes are so high if something goes wrong.
And you see those guys where it's like I see bikes all the time. It's like, a 300 woods bike and it's got like 200 and something hours on it. And like they mash up the cosmetic stuff, but like mechanically it's fine, right? They're not revved out.
Maybe
like,
a clutch. That's it, right?
It's
a lot of challenges in general, and it's always going to be a challenge.
Does mountain biking really give you that same feeling? No, right? Like
maybe if you're really damn good, but I'm not really damn good. Even if you're sending big jumps and shit, right?
I think the nice part about moto is every time you get out, unless you're by yourself, you can cater to that competitive edge that you have,
Well, even if you are out by yourself, there's still that competitive edge of like,
I want to hit that better. I want to do this better.
Want
to get lower in that ride, scrub harder, jump farther.
This is like something we all think about.
And you feel like Tomac doing it, even though you're nowhere fucking near him.
Are you kidding me? Like I'm right with Tomac.
this guy's in the 129 club, man. I don't
Me and Tristan Hart, you got Tomac style lap times, not Chris.
Is that
Keelan.
129 pounds? Or
no, we did 129s on the main track lap times.
Oh shit!
Tomac couldn't beat that. I guarantee you.
Jared and Tristan were doing U-turns after the finish line, going to the Dragon's back.
What's your lap time, bro?
Dude, I remember, so like Sean came here in the spring before heading out east, and it was like the second time we had ridden together since I'd been on the Yamaha. And every time we like get together, it seems like it's all out war. Like even in California. And it was funny, like he's always like played the head games with me, because I was always like a little bit slower than him, but then if I like got close to him, it like made him uncomfortable, and you could tell he'd always like start playing these little fucking head games, like say something to you or whatever.
Let's be honest, Keelan, you're kind of easy maybe to get into the head games.
Yeah, maybe once upon a time, but now
he's rock solid.
I'm calloused. I'm calloused, like Jared likes to say. And I remember like he actually got there late, and I had already finished a moto. Then I was going out for my second moto, and he just got out for his warm up, and I was like, I'm gonna hit this fucking guy hard. And so I just like, I think I like get up behind him and just start like pushing him harder and harder and harder, and we were just like going neck and neck while he was just like trying to do his warm up. You could tell he just like kind of tuckered out from not being warmed up. But I think we're like 132 or something.
Holy shit, you guys suck.
Do you know what?
Hey, we weren't busting out fucking U-turns after the finish.
I wasn't either, bro.
Yeah.
Check my Strava.
I'm pretty handy with the stopwatch. I feel like we need to like organize
Let's do it.
the best of Alberta time trial championship.
Ooh.
That would be
There
fun.
we go.
Right?
Well, that's what I love about
Calling all racers. What are we putting up, $1,000?
Don't even bother, because I already won it. 129. That's it.
You sound a little insecure there, bud.
Yeah,
We'll have to-
I
we
rode like 10 times.
But we have to like have a format where it's like, okay,
Like super pull.
everyone has like, you can only do one lap at a time, like true
no,
time trial.
No. We need 30-minute motos.
No. Do it like, yeah, like one lap, but you get like 5 attempts.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Can you do them back to back to back to back? If you want.
Well, I feel like you got to cycle through, because you don't want to have someone with a track way earlier than
true.
someone else.
Very true.
you know?
Very true.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fun actually.
Yeah.
I love how they do. I mean, it's probably gets a little boring after a while, but in Europe, how like at the enduro crosses or the super crosses, they have super pulls.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's so cool. And it's like, it's just the focus is on that one rider for their hot lap.
I think that's so cool. Like
Yeah.
That's great for everyone, I think.
It's good for the guy. That's
Give him, like-
129 club.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a great sprint racer either, so but I think it'd be great to do that in Supercross, because it like give him like 1 or 2 points if you win Super Bowl.
Do you know what I was thinking? Like, what if you had like, say, a single extra point for fastest qualifier, and then a single extra point for fastest lap in the moto?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know
that's
what I
cool.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Whole shot too. Get a point.
And in the moto's a little tough.
No,
because
Keelan,
no,
Mr.
no.
Holeshot says
No.
give him a
Yeah.
point.
you know what? Like, I'm all
Yeah,
for it.
why not?
Just mix
I
it
mean,
up a
they
little
give you
bit.
money for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not give a point or something? Yeah.
But like, you don't want it too much. Like, just 1 point. You know?
One
what I mean?
point's fine.
Yeah.
It's minimal, right?
Yeah.
Now, in the moto would maybe be tough to control, because like maybe someone went off the track and somehow got a better, like it'd be a hard thing to police.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like you could monitor that
would be-
situation. Like if their lap time was like 6 seconds. Well, I guess there's times
it would
where
be-
it happens.
It would be
like,
between like 2 or 3 guys, right? Like
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, we got to remember this is Canada, and who's
Yeah, true,
paying
true.
attention.
we got no money. We got no money. We got no time. We got no people.
Daryl Murphy running from end to end of the track.
Man, you know what? Props to those guys though. Like,
Oh,
they,
100%.
yeah. Oh,
Daryl Murphy, you know what would solve all these lapper issues and everything in the States? Daryl Murphy.
yeah.
Daryl Murphy. You ever seen that guy with the blue flag?
But
He's sprinting all over the track.
You wax you
Oh
in the
yeah,
face with it.
he's pointing you down.
But imagine how things could be if we had like a dozen Daryls.
Oh my God! Imagine that many passionate people.
There'd be
Alright.
too many Daryls, man.
There would be definite.
Do we
fist
have
fights.
enough hair gel for
I'm
that?
good with one Daryl.
You guys got to get him on here. I feel like
Oh, we've talked
Yeah.
about it. We've
Yeah.
talked about
because
it.
like he's literally Like I want some Daryl history. I don't know when he started. Like he's been around since I've been
Did
around.
he race? Was he any good? Like what? I don't know what happened.
I'm pretty.
I'm
pretty sure he's from Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
right?
he is. Yeah. He has a
like
tattoo of Kevin Windham on his calf.
He basically runs the show
I don't know if it's
out
Kevin
there in
Windham or-
Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Like I think he like helps run the series out there, the amateur scene.
Yeah, he's just quite involved.
Yeah,
I think.
add him to the list. We need
Yeah.
some backstory here.
Let's go. I'm gonna text him right now.
All right. Perfect. Fuck, you should be sweet to get logistically it'd be a nightmare, but if you could get him and Kinger same time,
Oh, man.
right?
That'd be good.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna have to be a Skyper.
Yeah.
How do you spell Daryl?
Yeah, actually,
We don't know how you've entered it in your phone.
I've gotten to know.
I got him. I got him.
I've gotten to know Kingsley pretty good over the past couple of years because he's pretty good buddies with the family I was staying with out east.
Yeah.
And I've went mountain biking with him quite a few times. And yeah, he's a really solid dude, you know.
I like the guy. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I'm actually it'd be interesting if he had a little bit more input into what was going on in the Canadian moto scene.
I totally agree.
Like, I don't think he has much of a voice, as people might assume. Yeah, I don't know. I just, I think he has a lot of value to bring to the table.
It's funny. Like I almost miss when we had like a real tech inspection because it was like my my like 1 minute with Kinger every morning. Like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Nice Jordans. You know,
Nice Jordans.
How's the knee?
Yeah.
How's the knee? Yeah.
No, he would be good too. Does he have Instagram?
I don't know.
I think he does. Yeah.
I'm gonna message him too.
Yeah, I remember going mountain biking with him once with my buddy that I was staying with. His name's Brian Ward, and used to be like a pretty fast pro back in like the 70s. And yeah, like, I mean, my buddy Brian Ward is like my idol. Like, I want to be like this dude when I grow up. Like, just total savage at like the age of like 65. Probably in better shape than I am. But yeah, we went mountain biking together with Kingsley, and yeah, it was Kingsley got a little smoked.
Oh, I imagine.
And then he went and bought an e-bike.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Have you guys seen his car? He's got a sick Golf.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I don't know, whatever like the cool model is. I don't know.
Diesel?
No. Like
Volkswagen.
The GTI.
Yeah. Like the real sporty looking
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like a kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How we gotta be like 3 hours deep.
Yeah,
in this
we're
bitch.
3 hours. Camera's dying again.
What's your guys' record on this thing?
Probably around 3.5.
Yeah, we might have hit 4 one time.
Yeah. I feel like as soon as we start tapering out, that's when we just call it a
Yeah.
night, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
Yeah.
Regroup, save it for another time.
Yeah. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Off my chest.
Do you need any therapy
deep,
sessions?
Yes, any deep secrets you want to get
Or
off
like-
your chest?
Yeah.
I think we're
Or any like rumors or like
one time at band camp.
What does MX 101 do next year if Sean Moffenbauer retires and Keelan Meston has AIDS? For 450 guys.
That's a good question.
Marshall Welt and Cole Thompson.
Yeah.
Thompson signed, bro. Supercross only.
No.
Really?
I think the first thing that'll happen is we'll continue on with Rosina, just because he's local and it's easy. And,
For outdoors too?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
It's good to have a Canadian guy.
And then it'll be a hunt for a title level guy. You know, they're not in abundance, but
I think Marshall would be a good pick.
yeah, you know.
Is he not signed with Cowie or no?
I
feel like no one's signed.
I think he's racing Yamahas and Supercross.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
250?
Yeah.
Sweet.
And do we know, like, is the Cowie team existing moving
Yeah,
forward?
that's a good point too, right? Like no one really knows.
Yeah.
I know they're pretty vocal about. I mean, I hate kind of regurgitating things that other people have said, but and because you never know what's true. but I've heard that they're not committed to any of the indoor stuff whatsoever. And it's tough when the manufacturer or a manufacturer-backed team will not get on board with what the series is trying to do. So,
that stuff sucks because I really do think there's a place for indoor racing in Canada. It's just you have to do it right, and I don't think we've done it right yet.
I think it's got to be like it's got to be like you don't always have to like follow the playbook of the U.S. And I feel like obviously the Triple Crown is starting to step away from that, doing these like 15-minute motos and stuff. But for the indoor scene, for how many people don't want to follow the whole series just because of the geography of the country, like why not do an east-west thing?
I agree.
It's funny. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. Do one finale where like people meet up, Manitoba.
I was just thinking, like,
I don't know.
Throw it in Winnipeg,
Yeah.
The dirt will be good, right?
Yeah. I love that Manitoba dirt. McNabb, think of all the great dirt in Manitoba.
And at one point in time, I'd say no because you wouldn't get as many fans showing up to the race. But I think now it's more about viewers on TV than fans at the race. So
especially
who gives
for
a shit where the location is.
Especially for the.
Well, it's for the promoters too. Right? Well, I guess indoors is differently, but for the promoters make their money off of the spectators.
Yeah.
But
if you get a good indoor venue though, and like so, let's say you have an East-West series. Have a Future West run your West Coast scene where it's like, you got BC.
Yeah, why not?
Get a couple venues in Alberta, and for the West Coast diehard dudes that want to race indoors, they'll hit those, and then have the Jetworks boys do their thing out east. They seem to do a good job at it, and then have a showdown like where it's like you hype it up, be like, this is for the championship. It's East-West shootout. You do it for both classes.
Really promote it on social media. Get the viewership up. And we'll have Cole Thompson taking people out. And
the other one, I think they're actually finally on the right path on when they're having them. Like having them in the fall is when they need to happen. You don't want to be competing with other events.
I agree.
And for us, like as a team, when they were trying to do the spring and then the fall as well, it's a tremendous pain in the ass because like it's hard to prep, right? You're down south all winter, you're riding outdoors, then all of a sudden you shift gears, let's get ready for indoors, you build bikes for indoors, and then you got to switch them back and then switch them back again in the fall. Having them all in one group is fantastic. And then you don't want to compete against other events. Like you want to be racing when nothing else is going on in the world of racing. Like
you don't want to be competing against like hockey events.
No, that too.
Especially in Canada.
But like we were saying, like, we're running a little deep into it now. But like before this started, we were like, hey, is there a race anywhere tonight? Like, what's going on? And so many moto fans in the world, like, you want to have events when there's no other events and people are looking for something to watch, right? That's how you get the most viewers. Like, and it's funny, like you said, against hockey. I remember when we had that one in Calgary here, and I'm like looking out the window of the building, and there's a playoff Flames game, literally like 50 feet away. I'm like, no one's coming here. Like, what are we doing right now?
Well, like, to be honest,
I wanted to leave and go watch the hockey game.
Realistically, it would be more fun. Like, honestly, even as a diehard race fan, like, I was at that race, and you're like,
go to the playoffs.
Look how fun that Flames game is. And
I was working, and that's what I thought.
Like,
but that there's a point there, though, right? If nothing's going on in the city, that people are here every race.
People are looking for something to do, especially at the right time of year. Like, I don't know if the weekend before Christmas is necessary yet with people spending money on presents and whatnot, but like you say, you got to do it off season.
Timing is everything.
Yeah, maybe like September, October.
Yeah,
maybe that's a better
October,
time.
November.
October, November. Yeah.
Because
September's like, I don't know. That's tough. There's still racing going on.
People kind of over racing a little bit by then too. Like you're looking to get into the next thing. Like, I don't know. It's such a delicate balance.
Yeah, and I also don't like really like right in the middle of winter racing because it's just like people haven't been
Yeah,
riding,
no,
and
it's
then just gonna
dangerous,
go ride a stupid arena cross track where they're gonna all.
I think November though is definitely a prime time here.
I think so too.
I agree.
It's like we all agreed that like even this race coming up is people are still going to be decently fresh, even though it's kind of a bad date.
And they've had a bit of time off to kind of refresh, and people are like, oh yeah, I want to get back into it. You know?
Hopefully it's successful. Like I
think it'll be good. I think it will be good. Like
I just want to see it come back. I want to see racing, like indoor racing, come back in Alberta.
Yeah. Just racing in general. I feel like racing in Alberta has died off in the last 2 years.
The other tough one too, it's like people put indoor stuff on this like pedestal, like where it's like they're like, oh, arena cross, like I'm not good enough for that. I'm like, you ride the appropriate class. It's
you're gonna be fine. It's not
nothing-
gonna be like 10-foot whoops or whatever.
Exactly, right? And
Or just
I think, you know, if this goes well and people have a good time, maybe it grows into something bigger and better, right?
Yeah.
You can only start somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere, and I think that kudos to Paul for stepping up and trying to promote this thing. We're gonna try and get him on this janky show at some point, but yeah. Anyways, so one last question: do you think Dylan Wright stays in Canada next year?
I hope he doesn't, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I think he will though.
You know, like I
Probably.
said, it's the same thing where it's like he was on a competitor team and you want to hate the guy, but his talent is he has no business being here.
He might be the best guy we've seen out of Canada in a long time.
And he, like, I've said this to him, like I think he's good enough. Like, if you want to win 1 million Canadian championships, do it at the tail end of your career. You know, just like JSR.
He could come back, right?
Exactly. It doesn't mean you're gone forever.
Yeah,
but,
it's not like people are gonna forget about you.
But to not see where you could go with this would be a shame. So I hope he goes as far as he can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think? I bet. My gut feeling tells me that he's gonna be here next year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I hope he seeks something out where he can. I mean, I would love to see him go to the GPs or to the States, but Supercross is a challenge, right, with the States.
Yeah, but again, that's another weird Canadian thing. Like, people put it as some sort of unobtainable thing. Like,
I think it's just, from my point of view, it's hard to jump into the 450 class outdoor in Supercross without going through the 250 class. Like,
true.
That's a different thing, right? Like, Pettis is going to race 250 Supercross.
then
Maybe he does that. I don't know.
but it's not like Dylan can't ride a 250.
No, he
Like,
can,
it's,
100%.
you know,
Yeah.
it's the ball's in his court. He's got to.
I hope he does.
Well, within some seat time too. Like he could do the 450 class. There's nothing.
Well, that's
to say
just
he couldn't do it.
If he had a proper off season with a real Supercross track, surrounding himself with people that he would fit in very rapidly.
Yeah, he did pretty well at Geneva, or not Geneva, Paris.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't anything special. But
Yeah, like he's an elite level rider. He'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he needs to go, but yeah, at the end of the day, you gotta do what makes sense financially.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Like, going to the GPs, I feel like the GPs he's not gonna make as much money as he could here.
Yeah, but I think if he's resourceful and reaches out to the people that believe in him, I think there wouldn't be any issue trying to conjure up the money that he would need to go do it.
Well, and
so,
like
I don't know.
like we said, it doesn't need to be forever too. Like, maybe
you're
it
right.
doesn't work and he comes back.
Comes back and wins again here, right?
Yeah.
But
Even if he goes and tries it, and comes back within 2 years, let's say, he's probably worth more money here just because of the name he's going to build over there. Even if he's not getting top fives or anything, just
he could be
doing what he's doing.
I believe he could be a consistent top 10 guy in the GPs.
Yeah,
100%. No doubt in my mind, he could be there every weekend.
And you guys know, as Canadians, like, you always, want that guy to cheer for. Like,
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
like
No matter who goes somewhere else, you're watching them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
You feel like you almost you're there with the guy.
Yeah.
For some
You're
reason,
like, I
right?
know that guy, man.
Yeah, and you want him to do well, and it's like the country has someone to rally around.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, like in our small moto community,
yeah,
anyways. So it's like
It's so weird and stupid because like you look at like a hockey fan and you're like, oh, you're an idiot. You think they care that you're watching the game and you bought their jersey and this and that, but then we go and feel the same way about some race.
Yeah, but I feel like it means more because there's such a small amount of people that actually care.
Yeah.
Right? Like almost means more.
Yeah.
And for him, like long run, like the respect you would gain for trying and the support on the Canadian side of things. Like not that you want to run like a GoFundMe program or anything, but like people would get behind that effort where
I feel like people would almost be more choked that he didn't go now.
Yeah.
You know?
But what
I'd be kind of choked if he didn't go. I'd be like, dude, come on. Killing it.
So what does GDR? Who does GDR get if he leaves?
Keelan Meston.
No, man. I'm factory Peterbilt now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they bump Tanner to 450 and then go all in on McNabb on 250.
I guess that would kind of make sense. I don't know how Tanner would fare in the 450 class yet. I don't think he's quite ready, but maybe he is.
Because
maybe he is.
You think they're dead set against hiring an American to come up?
I don't.
If something like this were to happen, where it's kind of last minute.
I don't know. GDR is not the type of.
Yeah,
team.
I feel like ideally they wouldn't, but last minute, let's say.
Yeah, who knows?
Who do they get though?
Maybe
from
Thompson.
Thompson.
Yeah.
I feel like Derek doesn't want to hire Thompson.
I think they're okay with each other.
Okay.
You know, I think like everybody gets heated with fucking dudes, but
yeah, maybe
it seems like I don't know. I feel like the slate kind of gets wiped clean to an extent in our sport. Like shit happens, and then people like maybe hold a bit of a grudge, but then get over it and they're cordial.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Is there like a 250 guy who would be better suited to a 450, like is a Sinai or
Marco?
Marco.
I mean, better suited on a 450 that he could.
I could see Marco riding really well on a 450.
It's pretty smooth.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think Marco.
It's funny. I love Marco. He's a fantastic rider, but like on a 250, you need almost that like turn your brain off intensity.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't have. He's like very smooth, very
Exactly.
calculated, very smooth on the throttle. Like I feel like he'd be good on a 450.
And I've seen him like he practices on one quite frequently, and it's good.
Yeah, I could see him doing really. I could see him being a better 450 rider than 250 rider for sure.
Yeah,
and he's a big kid, right? He's tall.
I think. I think Parker Eels would be good, but obviously not for like a ride. I think he'll step it up next year.
Yeah, he's gonna like. I feel like he has a couple steps to go, and he'll be right. He'll be a really good dude. Like
about tossing Piccolo up on the 450.
He'd be probably out of control, bro. I don't know.
He's signed.
KTM, Katoom.
Sebastian Racine signed. KTM.
Here's a good one. Like who's the next kid? Who's behind Racine? Like Racine's kind of, I think, the best coming in this year. Like who's the best guy coming in next year?
No idea.
Rempel? I don't know. That's the only kid's name I know.
Yeah.
No clue.
I don't know either.
I think the next couple of years are going to be pretty crucial for a kid like Julian Bennick.
Bennick's a good kid.
Because I think he's actually a couple years younger than Piccolo.
Yeah, he got.
Yeah, he's like 16
I feel like
or 17.
he got tall young, right? Kind of like Dylan, right?
But I think like if, it's just. It really depends on how the next couple of years look like for Bennick, but I think he could be the next guy. I honestly do believe a Tyler Gibbs has a chance. Like I think he has, a little bit of that shut your brain off and go. Actually, has a lot of that. Or shut your brain off and go. But
how old is he though?
He's gotta be like 20.
I can't really remember, but
he's 20.
I think he struggles a little bit with the networking side of things, with like making good relationships with, I could be wrong. This is just from the outside looking in, and I think Tyler's a great kid, and everyone I ask has nothing but great things to say about him, and he gives it his all on the track. Like there's no shortage of that. But I think he struggles with like, just networking with the people he needs to network in the industry, and then focusing on building those relationships with no matter who it is. And I guess that's you can kind of see that with him jumping from brand to brand too. Like he seems like he's on a different brand every other month. So I think if he maybe gets that dialed in, then that'll help accelerate his career. Like kind of get with somebody that really believes in him, and then kind of make it a two-way relationship, where they kind of help each other grow and see how far they can take it. And dude, like this past year he killed it for just like jumping into the series cold turkey, like
he's really good Supercross rider too.
And on a bike that he never had really any preseason prep on, and suspension that he didn't have preseason prep on. Just like got called up to go out and did the job, and actually did pretty darn good at a lot of rounds.
Did he just do the Supercross, or did he do some outdoors?
He did outdoors too.
Okay, yeah. So Casey got hurt and he hopped in there.
Yeah,
right.
And he did great.
Yeah,
like really good.
Yeah. Another kid I think maybe like a little bit different side of the spectrum is that Zach Uzumfef. I don't know how old he is, but I think he's like a really technical, like good rider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how old he is, but I feel like he could be really good in the future. Like he could.
Yeah, he's talented.
Very smooth, not out of control. He's a good rider. I don't know. I don't know.
I agree.
Uzumfef, or what do you call him? Little Uzi Vert or whatever you call him.
Uzi.
People call him Zouf.
Those people in those positions, man, it's a tough spot to be in, where you're like, okay, you're pro now, you're not on a team. Like it's like you really have 1 year to make or break it, and people forget about you. Like it's
Big
funny
time.
In my head, like I'm going back through people's names like throughout the years, and it's like there's so many like what ifs where it's like kids that were so close. Like it's it's tough to think about. And I'm like been sitting here thinking about this, like who's next sort of thing, and I feel like there's some good kids that are a few years away. Like there's some super mini riders right now that are pretty good, but like that next year thing, I feel like there's a gap.
Yeah. I feel like that's almost like a little bit of a stigma in the sport too, though, because like think about me and Keelan raced pro for 4 years before anyone even knew who we are, basically. And then all of a sudden we got like some decent results, and you can build from that too. It doesn't mean you have to set the world on fire your second or third year pro. No. You can definitely build from that, but yeah, it's a lot easier if you.
Yeah, and like in my mind, like not to take away from you guys, but I'm like thinking like
no shit on
like
this.
like a guy that could be a championship guy within the next year or two,
Definitely, yeah.
Like not the slow build. Everyone wants the guy that is the next Pettis, the next Wright,
the next Piccolo.
Exactly,
yeah, for sure.
I think I don't know. Like Bennick is tough. Like he seems like he's kind of smart, but also willing to send it too. And then
his whoop speed is incredible actually.
And then
he
Tyler
looks
Gibbs
sick.
is just like he's like, I feel like him and Jake, like Piccolo, are carbon copies of each other. I don't know, it's just like Jake's been a little more consistent with keeping in the racing scene the past couple of years, whereas like Tyler seems like he's kind of, I don't know, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I don't know. I just like I guess I didn't really pay attention too much when I was out east to the guys that were out there that kind of would maybe stand out. Other than like Racine looked like a seasoned rider at the races that I did watch him. Like he is impressive at Sandali.
It's funny though. These guys go down like I think Racine went down to mini O's and he got waxed. Did you not? I don't know.
It's
amateur
so
racing
tough.
too, right?
Like 40 people on a gate and you get a shit start.
And
mini O's seems like the worst possible example too, right?
5 laps on a 50-second track, like it's,
Supercross. Whatever.
It's that stuff's tough. Like it's Yeah, I'm glad that those guys are doing that stuff because it's so good for sprint intensity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm all about getting as much gate drops as possible.
That's the answer to everything, right?
Yeah. I actually thought Mackay was gonna be a lot better this year.
Yeah, he was not that good this year, was he?
I feel like he's struggling with nagging injury stuff.
Is
really?
he?
Yeah.
Okay, he's a really good rider though. Like last year, he was good.
I like him too. He's a good kid.
I don't know him at all, but he seems like a really good rider.
Yeah, it's if a few guys leave the 450 class, it kind of, I guess it leaves a little bit of a dilemma for teams to find guys, especially if you want to stay dedicated to the Canadian crop,
Well, and it depends on what happens, right? Like right now, if you're a team guy, like your main focus is who can I hire to beat Dylan? And that's a very short list.
Yeah, you got to get someone from the States, basically.
You know what I mean? So it's like almost.
I think I could beat Dylan.
Yeah.
Like in a hand-to-hand fight.
Yeah,
I could kick his ass.
Man,
arm wrestling, thumb wrestling.
He's a little squirrely. He might come
He
at
might
you
like
flailing.
pull a knife on you.
I don't know. Maybe we could organize this too after the time.
Moto
trial.
Fight Club.
Maybe me and Keelan can combine our skills and come into one super being.
Super being?
Super being.
Like you're gonna be on his shoulders?
Yeah.
I think I can handle Dylan by myself, but thanks. I'll take the backup.
All right, we should probably wrap this up. It's been a long episode.
You know who I'd be scared to get in a fight with is Tim Tremblay.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's always so smiley. I can't picture him.
But I feel like if you get on the bad side of him, he'll go all like freaking French immersion on you and start yelling some profanity you can't understand.
Well, I didn't realize words hurt you.
If I don't understand them, they'll hurt.
What?
Keelan just make it up in his head.
All right, we're out of here. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one,
thanks
boys.
for tuning in. Thanks, Cale.
Yeah, no problem.